He was just actually playing, really. But
Yo, what is going on, everybody? That is right. Next podcast is live. Guys, I have been waiting for this show. Highly anticipated what is going on today. Guys, not only do we have a special guest, somebody in you know, I've been wanting to have on the show for a long time, you know, seeing him out there on Twitter, seeing his YouTube videos, stuff like that. To me, He is like the epitome of an Xbox gamer. But I'm really excited for that. Of course, we're going to be talking about Inside Xbox. We have a couple other topics as well. It's just really going to be a good show. So, guys, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it with you guys. I'm going to hit that thumbs up button. Please do that. And please share this out on social media. Let the gamers out there know that we are going in tonight. It is next podcast. We have the beats. We have the gameplay. And, of course, we have the entertaining panel. On that note, let's get right into the introductions. You know, let me do the special guest first. Like I said, I consider him the epitome of an Xbox gamer. When it comes to his content, things he puts out on Twitter, I don't see him bashing any other platforms, but he puts out what he likes, what he wants to see for the platform that he plays games on. Not only that, he does have a YouTube channel. The link is in the description below. I highly suggest going and subscribing to it. My brother, the Illusive Gamer. What is up, bro?
Yo, dude, happy to be here. You know, I like Xbox. Xbox is my preferred platform, and you know, I do make the occasional joke now and then, but I like to focus on the positive side of things because the internet is just filled with negativity and hate. So I like to bring, you know, the brighter side to the gaming front. And we just had a gaming show from Xbox, and it's quite polarizing, and I think it's going to be interesting to talk about.
Definitely. One of the reasons why I was so excited is like I noticed that the panel, including our special guest, the difference of opinions when it came to the Inside Xbox and what they showed and all that good stuff. I was like, man, this is going to be an amazing show. So I want to let the chat know when it comes to the Illusive Gamer, aka Jamie Moran, and of course, I hope you don't mind. I'm probably going to call you Jamie most of the night, man. That's how I know you. But I said, you know, it's basically your first time on next podcast. Either you're gonna love this episode or you're never gonna return. I'm hoping it's the first option, by the way, man. But it is good to have you on, and I do need to go and introduce the rest. And I'm gonna start out with the man that started attacking the neutrals last night on GRG, coming live from the 405, and you know, he's only trying to talk to the intelligent gamers out there. K Mega!
Listen, tonight is the night to start setting things straight. I got love for everybody on this panel. I got love for the chat. I got love for gamers. But sometimes you just got to give some tough love. And I got a lot of that once we get to a certain topic. But we're going to have a good show. It's going to be respectful. Let everybody make their points, but I damn sure going to be heard tonight.
You remember you said that, man, because it's being recorded. It'll be on YouTube. Remember that whole respectful thing? Remember you said that, man, because when people start making a point, if you start going up over them, that's disrespectful, bro.
No. I'm not going to try to overtalk anybody because I mean, we have to have everybody's voices heard, and I know that not everybody's going to agree with my point or my stance, but I will address what I did in full detail more than I did on GRG last night. So get ready for that.
Brother, it's all good. I already got attacked on Crossfire last night as well, man. It's all good, bro. Like, dude, I am King Neutral. If I am pissing off Xbox guys and PlayStation guys, I am exactly where I want to be. That's all I got to say, man.
That's fine. Oh, and thank you, Jamie, for coming on, man. Big fan of your stuff, man. We kind of like each other's stuff when we post and everything like that. So, and especially the movie of the night, I always enjoy looking at that. I'm like, oh, I need to watch that movie too.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. And plus, you know, on Twitter, like I think, you know, more people need to, like, you know, talk about and push other people's content because everyone in the community has something cool to say at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, bro. Let me move on. Next on the list. Now, he showed up late for my Inside Xbox, but he came in with the best hangout picture I have seen to date. He's been knocking it out of the park lately. Of course, I'm talking about my brother Predator. What is up, bro?
What's going on, man? Happy to have Jamie on the show. I miss your memes, man. I ain't seen him in a while. So what's up with that?
I stopped making memes so often because it was stirring the pot.
It was
Yeah,
little bit.
that's how I got to know Jamie, man. Me and him, we used to put memes up during the podcast and doing other people's shows and stuff like that, and go back and forth. And we follow each other, and it's been, it's been cool. I've done a couple of podcasts with him before, so good having you on, and thank you for showing up today. And I know we got a lot of topics to get into today. Well, a long topic to get into today, so I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, and let's move on to the next panel.
Well, Pred, I've adjusted how I've done topics. Now, they might have been, it might have been a small list today, but I always look for people, especially on the panel, if there's ways I can improve things. And I got to say, Pred, with what you said about the topic situation and how it was all constructed, I definitely like this way better, man. I gotta say,
we would go like 3 hours.
He's like, you give us a whole list of topics, but then we only get through 3 of them, and I never know which 3 we're going to get to. So, like, can you fix that? Yeah, but it's gonna be great. Like I said, so many opinions. So let me go next on the list. You guys know him as a hardcore Gears fan, but I've seen gameplay of him playing Halo and other games. I'm telling you, it was not a dream. My brother Crispy, what is up, bro?
What is up, chat? It is great to be here. Xbox is still alive even after everybody's so disappointed. So let's see what happens.
Oh no, you're going that way already. Here we go, people. Dude, let me just go next on the list. Yo, this man was known for saving the world multiple times, but unfortunately, he has retired, and look what is going on with the world right now. Guys, you need to stand up and let him know that he needs to come out of retirement. My brother, the Angry Otter, a.k.a. Dark Optimus. What is up, brother?
They don't deserve it, man.
What are you
they
talking
don't deserve
about?
it. No, what's up? Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, as always. Next podcast is his home for me.
Dude, I kind of cornered you at the end of Inside Xbox, so I was like, so are you going to be on Saturday?
Yeah, you did. I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'll be on here.
There you go, man. Again, you were another one that showed up late to the show, but always bring something, something unique, something original, like Predator when you guys do jump in. So I had a lot of fun doing that show.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
Yeah,
it was fun having Jamie on, and then having him here tonight. It's awesome.
I feel like this show might top it, though, man. I'm just saying,
it's gonna top it. This show's gonna be fire, dude. Especially with K-Mega and his shenanigans.
All the time, shenanigans, man. Yeah. Well, guys, let's get into EA first. We're going to get into this topic. Let people get in here. Guys, you know what to do. Share this out. Let people know that we are going in tonight, next podcast. And first off, I've seen a lot of people talk about EA hinting. They say that they're hinting that kind of like smart delivery on the Xbox, there's going to be a similar feature with the PlayStation 5. And guys, I have been checking different articles and such to see what is going on here. And I'm looking at one right now. I'm trying to find the quote here that really caught my eye. But I gotta say, I haven't seen anything when it comes to EA and what they have said. Here it goes, right here. This is a quote from where everybody's getting that, PS5 is going to have a smart delivery system. Note that this year, the phasing includes the effect of revenue recognition for the games we are launching for the current generation of consoles that can also be upgraded free for the next generation. And that's what this man Jorgensen said to the investors. We've made a preliminary estimate of that impact in the phasing, but it should be noted that this will not affect net bookings for the full year, nor cash flow, just the timing of recognition. Now, I know we got a special guest, and Jamie, you are definitely going to get first dibs when we talk about Inside Xbox. I do want to go to Predator here because, he is the man on that business side as well as the gaming side. Out of what you heard there, where do you see that PlayStation 5 might have a smart delivery system? I don't see it here. To me, it looks like he is talking so vague that he could be just talking about the Xbox and games being sold on that Xbox. I don't see anything here that would make it an assumption that PlayStation and Sony with PlayStation will be having this feature. What do you think, bro?
Well, Sony hasn't said anything, so it's really hard at this point to kind of pinpoint what their plan of action is when it comes to smart delivery or anything in that matter. So look at it like this: if Microsoft is using that as a selling point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it'd be different if both companies were doing it, but if Microsoft is using that as a selling point going forward into this generation, um, you would think that Sony would also use it as a selling point, or Microsoft wouldn't use it at all, right? So, like, I think at some point it may become a thing. I just don't think it is now, but we really can't say because Sony's not talking about shit. So, I guess we'll find out in June if that's a thing or not. But like the fact that Microsoft has spent money and time to market, smart delivery,
Mm-hmm.
and Sony hasn't said shit about it at all. Like we're hearing it from third parties, like other people. Like if it was a thing, Sony would say something by now. They would have like, yeah, we're doing it too. Like like it, I like the fact that EA is coming out and saying it first, and maybe Sony's kind of holding their cards a little bit, but I don't know if they're actually doing it. I might think it's a misstep. Maybe it might be for certain
Dude, do
games.
you think people are jumping the gun with what was said to the investors here? Because I can completely see them saying this because of Xbox's smart delivery, and I don't like. Do you see anywhere where that is like it's hinting at Sony as well?
You think they're kind of just lumping Sony into it, thinking they're going to do it too? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I'm
Just
I'm thinking that they're talking this way because they're expecting to sell games on all platforms. But if one platform in particular is doing something different, like a smart delivery system,
I see what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying? They're not just going to be like, oh yeah, and by the way, Xbox this and smart delivery this. They're just going to say to the investors to
Everybody's
keep
doing
it simple. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't see any hint here
I
that.
mean, it's a okay. Let's go back to the PlayStation 4, right? When the generation changed, did Sony do that with their games? Did they make those same games on PS3 available on PS4? No, they didn't. They sold them back to most people, like a lot of games, as remasters, right? They made a lot of money off that shit, making a game a remaster. Last of Us, pick a game. Like they did that at the change of the generation. Whereas Microsoft, I don't think they did that as the remaster thing. They just made everything back compat, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I can't remember. So
Well,
like,
the whole thing with Sony and PS3 to PS4, the thing that they were able to say is because of the cell processor, they
it
really
wasn't
couldn't.
available.
They really couldn't do anything about that.
Change
So
architecture and stuff like that. So, but now they should be able to, right? It should be a thing, right?
yeah,
So, the fact that they made a lot of extra money reselling those games as remasters, why would they not do that again? Because people bought that. They have 100,000 plus consoles out there. So, if you buy, let's say, Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 right now when it comes out, should I say, and they don't do smart delivery and they do remasters of those games, wouldn't that basically be exactly what they did from the PS3 to PS4?
yes,
Yes.
So, I mean, if they can make money off of it, I think you're going to go that route. Because the thing is, if they were going to do something like smart delivery, they would have talked about it. Mark Stone didn't say shit about that in his little fucking stand up fake audience bullshit he did a couple months ago. So, like, um, it wasn't discussed. Like, I think it's something that the fans want, and they're not being vocal enough to ask for it. Um, because they think everything that PlayStation does is awesome. So if you
everything
want to
is
rebuy,
awesome. Yeah,
if you want to rebuy a remastered Last of Us 2 or remastered Ghost of Tsushima or whatever the hell else they come out with between now and then, or that they've already come out with, go for it. But I think from a consumer standpoint, for me buying a game like Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk didn't mention that it was like, smart delivery for PlayStation, right? They mentioned Xbox. They didn't say shit about PlayStation.
Yeah, yeah, and see
And
that's another thing that kind of swings into this whole situation.
and that goes for a couple other companies. I think have mentioned that too during the show this week. So like they mentioned, oh, smart delivery. They didn't say shit about Sony saying like, oh, you can buy it here and also buy it. Because if Sony was gonna do that, they would have said that by now. Now I think maybe it's tied to maybe a specific company. Maybe EA is doing it, and maybe Ubisoft isn't, or vice. I don't know because Sony ain't said shit. So, I
Dude,
would
you
just
said that
say,
phrase like 5 times already.
yeah, because, I
Man.
mean, it's like they're leaving PlayStation fans in the dark when it comes to stuff like this. Like right now, let's say you buy Cyberpunk because you really want to play that game right now, right? And you know you're gonna upgrade at some point in November, December, around the end of the year, whatever. And like you got other shit coming out in that game, like multiplayer and stuff like that. And if you know that if you buy Cyberpunk when it comes out, that you're gonna be able to upgrade straight over to the Xbox Series X, you're gonna buy it on the Xbox Series X because you don't have to buy the shit again, or you're gonna wait.
Yes.
Whereas Sony isn't saying shit about it, and if you buy Cyberpunk right now on the PlayStation 4, you might have to buy that game again or pay. I know one company did this. You pay $20 to get the next version because you already had it before. They'll charge you $20 more to get the upgraded version of PlayStation 5. Like that's fucked up. Like, and the marketing from Microsoft and that aspect being more consumer friendly and gamer friendly, like they're doing what they're supposed to do. Because I would hate to have to buy a game again to play the multiplayer version of it when it comes out, or anything else to get the upgraded res, whatever. That shit should come free, just like you do on PC. Like if I buy a game right now and they do a patch for the shit, I can get it on PC for free. The patch is like it's a regular download. It's DLC, right? It's just an upgrade. So like that's exactly what Microsoft is doing, where Sony isn't talking about the shit. So if I was a consumer and I knew that a company was doing this with some of these bangers coming out right now between now and the holidays when the Series X comes out, I'm buying the shit on the Series X or the Xbox One X right now because I know that I'm not going to have to rebuy that game again. There's not going to be any issues when I get the better version of the game. I can just plug and play.
It's definitely a selling point, like when it comes down to it, and then you're not stuck there thinking about like when it comes to a game like Cyberpunk, like, man, I'll just wait to pick it up until I get my new system. Like you could just pick it up and then you'll automatically get all the benefits when you do get the new system. You just kind of like re-download it with that smart delivery like feature, which I feel is really good for the beginning of the generation. And I think
here is a perfect example. When they had this show and they talked about Mad Max, what did old boy from Kansas City say?
Oh, what Pat Mahomes?
Pat Mahomes,
He said I'm playing on Xbox. That's what he said.
No. He said if you buy it on the Xbox One X, you get the upgrade on the Series X for free. Smart delivery. He mentioned it there.
Yeah, and think about this for a second.
PlayStation.
Think about this for a second. EA Access, Xbox first. Been Xbox for a long time. Partnership, huge. Number two, you paid the dude that was on the last cover to do that live
This is coming
stream.
from a Chiefs fan right now, guys. So
Mahomes,
man.
But you paid the dude that was on the last cover to explain everything, even though they didn't show us shit. Which they showed us what, like 5 seconds of the actual.
They showed him
game,
reaching for the touchdown, man. That
okay,
was it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is that EA is all in on Xbox. EA has made a lot of money off Xbox, and the people need to realize that Madden and FIFA are huge games for any console. And for you to go out and say that flat out that you buy it now, you get it later. Okay, it's huge, and we need to hear from PlayStation. I'm not sitting here and saying that PlayStation can't go and say, okay, we're gonna do this, but a lot of people are pointing out the new NPD and everything else, or how much sales the consoles have gotten. Well, guess what? Everybody's like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2. Of course, you're going to go and buy the console. But what happens when you want to go and upgrade and you can't, you have to download a whole new version and pay more money.
Yo,
like,
Crispy, Crispy, shout out to Gunstar in the chat. He said that EA is not doing Microsoft smart delivery. They are doing their own kind of smart delivery. I know it is timed, it is limited. Is that really from EA, or are they just using
that is EA's little standard. They're not using smart delivery.
So now we can have different publishers like implementing different types of. Oh my goodness, man!
Right.
Oh, this is gonna get crazy. Wait until Activision gets in on this, man. Oh no. Well, yo, K-Mega, what do you think about this? Like, and I am gonna ask the panel on whether or not Sony should do this, but you heard what I read, and that was a quote, to the investors. Like, I don't know how people are jumping the gun and saying, oh, this is going to be this is a hit on both systems. Like, I don't see that personally. And, Gaming News came out with articles stating this and everything afterwards. And I'm like, where are, it's not making any sort of common sense to me. Is it doing anything for you, brother?
No, what is it doing is that this is kind of like reminds me of the crossplay situation where Xbox has been trying to push and push and push, and Sony is just like, I'm not caring about that. And so now it's gotten to the point where what Xbox did kind of win the little battle between the whole crossplay thing, because the developers got behind it, the publishers just got behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and then Sony eventually caved. This is another one of those situations. Reason why nobody haven't heard from anything from Sony is because I think that Sony is looking at it from a standpoint of like, look, I'm trying to promote Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2, and for whatever else that we're going to be showing in June, that's going to be third party, second party, content that, from our marketing. So the whole smart delivery thing, it's really smart. And overall, if you really look at this, and I don't know, I was reading somebody in the comments that was saying, well, like after a couple of years, it's not worth anything. But just think about this for a second. It all comes down to the point of consumerism, which is going to be more beneficial to consumer. Somebody that wants to keep the old traditional way of gaming by you have to buy extra or have to pay, like Fred said, like $20-$30 to get an upgrade, or when a company is giving out hot games that previously came out that's got enhancements for free. People are going to go to the games that are for free. So PlayStation really don't have a choice especially when you, because the generation could already start to be over by 2 years if smart delivery and Game Pass are there and Sony has no answers for those. Sony has to cave at one point in time. They got to. So I think what Sony is doing is waiting on what the publishers are going to do. And EA is kind of it's like the first one that kind of like, we got to try to figure something out so we can put our fingers on stuff and make it seem like we're consumer friendly. But at the end of the day, we got to hit them with a delay. I mean, with only like a stipulation so we can still recoup the money back that we normally would make. And also on top of that, I mean, Madden is going to make plenty of money because of the stuff that they got with Ultimate Team, those microtransactions and stuff like that. I'm a Madden fan, but I mean, we have to be honest. I mean, it is slimy for what they're doing for having Patrick Mahomes come on there and say this, but then in the fine print, it's right there stating, well, you have to have Madden bought between the day that Madden comes out and by the end of the year. And you have to have a Series X day 1 to March 2021, or all of that stuff is null and void, and you have to buy the game in for however much it is at that point in time. So it is disingenuous, but it is a benefit, I suppose. Some people will look at it as a benefit. Others will think it's anti-consumer what EA is doing. But overall, PlayStation has to cave, but I think they're just waiting for the rest of the industry to see what they're going to do. Will Capcom do their different part of special delivery? Will Activision, Lord have mercy, I can't even imagine what Activision is going to do with it.
Well, I know
But
Ubisoft, but like somebody in the chat said Ubisoft, but they're with Valhalla, they're doing smart
right.
delivery. So
Well, and I also think it's also going to come down to third party marketing, because if Xbox get I mean, and we'll be more talking about that, about like these third party deals and things like that. Microsoft is being very aggressive. And then you got like with Game Pass, and then you got smart delivery. Microsoft is probably, they've already paid some money for whatever that they might lose. So they're like, okay, well, we can just allow smart delivery. Well, what is PlayStation going to do? Are they going to pay what they already paid their money for this? Are they going to try to do their own smart delivery and try to recoup some of those costs for some of those losses? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We'll find out in June, but you know what I'm saying? But I think it's EA having their own thing, and it's not so much about PlayStation having their version of smart delivery.
okay,
yet.
so
Or if even at all.
so that actually fits kind of like the narrative that I've been seeing in my mind here, and we're gonna go to the rest of the panel members as well, but I was just like, how are so many people jumping on this as, oh, see, it's going to be on the PS5 as well, and I'm like, yo, guys, what are you doing?
Bro, because they deep down want PlayStation to have smart delivery, because
it makes sense.
Money. It makes sense. It's consumer friendly.
But there's no evidence out there saying it though.
Because it's an Xbox feature, they can't come out and say, "Oh, that's a great." No, we can't do it. They can't do it. They'll get scrutinized amongst their own stand community. So they have to try to throw hype to hopefully, like, Sony will hear them screaming about it, behind the scenes. But they want the same thing that Xbox has. Any gamer that says otherwise, kind of like the whole Game Pass thing, where they were on this higher than now, I'm on a soapbox, I buy my games. Now I'm starting to hear people talk more and more about Game Pass. Oh, I'm going to get that for $1. Yeah, see, it's real simple, man. It's real simple.
If only they had heard the YouTubers back in the day when Game Pass first started, trying to tell people how huge it was going to be, man. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't listen at first, man.
That's got some hard heads, man. But,
Yo, let's go to the Illusive gamer, of course, our buddy Jamie here. Jamie, you heard what I read. All right, I'm pretty sure you looked into it yourself as well, man. You're always like you're really on top of a lot of the news that comes out. With what EA has said to investors, is there anything in there, in your opinion, that would point to PlayStation 5 possibly having a free game upgrade system going from the PS4 to the PS5?
I mean, like, unless Sony says it officially, we don't know. We can just speculate. But going from what we know that isn't a feature, apparently, like, as of right now. Like, when they came out months ago and said, yes, the PlayStation 5 will be backwards compatible, it'll have a 4K Blu-ray, blah-de-blah. They didn't say you'll be able to upgrade your next-gen games for free, because if that was true, they would have been shouting that from the rooftops like it was an 80s music video. So, I don't think it may be a thing. I mean, it could be, but this is the thing. It's like, EA being all shifty with the whole, you can upgrade your game up until March, which, I can see them, Activision, doing this a lot because, they like that moolah. I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell, but, you have to think how many people spent God knows how much money this generation double up on games. How many remasters has PlayStation came out with this generation? A ton,
Yeah, I was just going to say, you want me to count those, man?
Yeah, it's like think of every big PlayStation game last generation. It got an upgrade, which you had to pay for in the form of a remaster. Now we're talking about EA. I mean, they could have a deal with Microsoft. They've had many deals with Microsoft before, but this is the thing. This is one of those features I've seen people argue about. Free upgrades is an awesome thing. People don't want to buy the same game more than once. No one wants to do that, And the thing is, I've seen people say that, having next gen upgrades means it's not a true next generation upgrade, which I think silly, because if you buy the top end graphics card, you don't have to pay for the ultra patch, do you now? So it would be silly if PlayStation would be, requiring people to pay for upgrades, and they may do, they may not. It would be a PR disaster if people have to pay, like all over the board. I can't imagine them maybe doing that. Maybe they'll give developers more of an option. Because Microsoft, it's not mandatory, but when Cyberpunk came out and said, look, you can come out and get the free upgrade, and then Ubisoft are going to do that with games. Like, developers are being pressured right now into doing it, and if they don't do it, they look shifty as hell. And the thing is, Sony doesn't want to go into a new generation starting with, you're going to have to pay for every single upgrade for every game, because when it comes to their games, people still don't even know the backwards compatibility enhanced situation. When we know
that's what dual purpose in the chat was like. Is back compat there? Does Sony enhance the back compat? Now they did say something about enhancements for certain games, when the PS5 is released, but that's not the same as getting the bells and whistles from the new system. You'll get like, an up-res to the PS4, but like stuff that has to be coded in, like damn, I was gonna call it ray tracing. Shout out to 100 out there. Ray tracing and stuff like that has to be coded into it. It's not the same as getting a few enhancements on a PS4 title. You know what I'm saying?
So imagine for a second that you're a PlayStation 4. You only play PlayStation 4. You buy Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2. Okay, and then you plan on buying the PlayStation 5, but you find out that you have to buy those games over or pay an extra $30. How do you think you're going to feel about that?
People are going to lose it, because
I would hope, because I would lose it. If Xbox was doing the same thing, I would freaking lose it. I'm just saying. Let's say Gears 5 came out this year, and they said, you want a Series X? Oh, cool.
$20.
You can buy the Series X, but it's still $20 more to have the extra graphics. Instead, what I say to people is that Xbox, a lot of the games are made for PC too, at least the exclusives. So you have to realize that it probably doesn't not only cost them as much to do so, because they're already doing it technically, but they've been doing it for a while. That's why you see them not care about crossplay and stuff like that. That's why PlayStation was forced into a corner finally by Epic with Fortnite, because Fortnite is so popular. And Epic's like, we will just stop making content for you guys. That's the way we'll go. And devs have some power. And if, they don't at least give the option. Now, we don't know what they're going to do with their exclusives, which kind of drives me nuts, because it's like a lot of people that are ready for Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us, they haven't told you what they're going to do when the PlayStation 5 comes out, which is kind of sad in my opinion. I mean I'm not thinking of their wallet. I'm not thinking of Microsoft's wallet. I'm thinking of my damn wallet, and that's the way I think about it.
Crispy, one of the things is they could be waiting for Sony to finally say something, and I believe that's a topic down the road on this show. When it comes down to it, it is a possibility that our buddy Pat Mahomes over there was talking about the Series X and its smart, and getting the upgraded game, for free for a limited time or whatnot, because Xbox came out and they've been talking about their machine. So I think that part of it, it'll probably come back up a little bit later on in the show. I do want to hear from Dark, though. Dark, when it comes to this, and I know I read it at the beginning of this, but I think you heard what I said. You heard the words. I just don't get where people are coming off. Gaming News is writing articles saying that, this is a hint that the PS5... Like, I don't see it. Do you?
they'd be stupid enough not to do it. um, they have to almost kind of do it. Because
Well,
I think smart delivery is going to be a huge thing next gen, because because a lot of people are going to be taking a lot of their games with them. So I think Sony will be doing something. I don't know if it's exactly like what
hold
Xbox is
on. Do
doing.
you
It's probably
know
not.
something, sir?
No, I do not know
Okay,
anything
okay. I'm
about
just.
that.
I probably
Um,
should have asked you off air, but I'm like, nah.
yeah, no,
We're on air
I
now.
don't
I
know.
don't care, yo. Like, I
Yeah,
got.
yeah, no, no, I would have told you if I knew something or not. But no, I don't know anything about that. But I honestly see them doing it. It's just a smart move for them to do it. Um, they'll probably do it a little bit differently than Microsoft is doing it. You know how Microsoft is just like kind of like letting their devs do pretty much whatever. They're probably going to be like, you have a certain amount of time to do it. You know, this and that, which is probably, you know, smart from a business aspect, but not a consumer aspect. Of course, you know, for us, we always want to be able to be like, oh, if I can get that game upgraded, I rather have it upgraded, you know, whenever I want to download it again or whatever. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it would be smart for them to do something like that. Um, I think this is actually one of the coolest features of the next generation. Um, being able to play your old games with enhanced graphics and enhanced resolution and enhanced frame rates. That's going to be really interesting because, you know, a lot of these games that came out this generation were 30 frames per second. So it's going to be really interesting to see some of these games if they go to 60 frames. Um, some of these games are going to look like completely ridiculous if they go to 60 frames. Um, it's just you know, we're at a time right now where we're hearing a lot of rumors, we're hearing a lot of hoopla, we're hearing a lot of, you know, facts,
He
we're
said
hearing
hoopla.
yeah, well, you know how it is, you know, you hear a lot of misinformed things and things like that. And I get where, you know, a lot of the PlayStation guys are coming from. You know, they definitely, you can tell that they want this for their system. They just don't know that this is actually true or not. Because Sony hasn't come out and confirmed that they're doing smart delivery or anything like that. They haven't actually said much. I'm surprised they didn't say anything this week with Inside Xbox being around. They
Dude,
really
I
did
think
not
you get
do anything this week, which
incredibly
was
gassy when we go live, man. I hear you holding back burps like crazy, bro.
my bad, dude.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, at first, I used to wonder what that was, but now ever since I forgot if it was the Inside Xbox show or maybe.
Because I'm usually drinking something and I just burp profusely. But I think I was just surprised that Sony didn't do anything this week, and it kind of made me sad a little bit because I was like hoping that they were gonna, you know, have some kind of announcement or, you know, something, and they didn't do anything. And it was just kind of like it scares me a little bit because I'm thinking to myself, you know, we're
All
supposed
right,
to be hearing we're supposed to be hearing something very soon here.
all right, listen, brother,
But
you are leaking right into my brother Predator's topic, man. I don't know how you're doing that, but I got to stop you right there, man, because
my bad.
like we gotta leave that for that topic.
For
Guys,
sure, yeah.
well, yo, shout out to the Ash and Luca. What is up? Good to see you in the chat. And yes, I am calling him out. I guess I have been hanging around with you a little too much. Shout out to my sister Luca. But yeah, so let's get into the Inside Xbox topic. And the way I wanted to approach it is I want to approach it like games first. So everybody on the panel, you guys are gonna pick a game, talk about it, and we'll talk about it from there. And then after we get through the games that we're talking about, we're gonna get into, you know, the show, pacing, and kind of like the backlash that also kind kind of occurred when it came to this show. Now I hear K Mega licking his chops real quick as soon as I said the backlash part. This is gonna get really interesting, guys. So I am gonna go to our special guest, Jamie. Jamie, what is the game that you want to talk about from this last Inside Xbox show?
The Medium, horror game by the creators of the Blair Witch game, which was, it was pretty cool. But you could tell like that game didn't have a big budget. This game, it clearly looks like it has a bigger budget, and it has ray tracing. It has the composer of the Silent Hill franchise or the earlier franchises, early Silent Hill games behind the game, and it looks great because it looks like sort of a modern kind of version of Alan Wake, which I see a lot of people have been wanting a new version of. And it looks really good. And here's the thing, there's two very specific genres that show off graphics when it comes to a new console. It's racing games and horror games that aren't set in open worlds. When you have confined spaces, you can go all out in graphics. And what they showed later on in the trailer, that looked like in-game to me, and it looked really good. And, one of the things that we've heard Phil Spencer talk about a lot was ray tracing. And for the past God knows how many months, no one's really showed ray tracing. And this is one of the first games to show that. And the fact that they showing ray tracing for a game this early on, that tells me that the developers are going all out in the game, and it's a next-gen only title. So it's, Xbox Series X and PC. And it's also an Xbox Game Pass game day one, which doesn't devalue it at all.
Oh, it's a Game Pass game as well?
Yep.
And no.
It's just...
Game Pass fodder.
It's like I think it's going to be a great game for Game Pass because there's not a lot of horror games in there, and the thing is, think about it like this: you're going to get your shiny new Xbox, you're going to get a subscription to Xbox Game Pass and be able to play a brand new horror game that's ray traced, that has one of the best horror music composers of all time behind the game. Like that's an exciting thing, and I think more people, this whole the whole way they did the show, it didn't sit well with a lot of people. But the games they showed in general, and this horror game and all the games that's about to be mentioned, I'm probably going to buy them all outright because
you said that in the live show too, man. You're like, I'm probably buying all these, man.
Yeah, like I was really impressed by the games they showed. They didn't show a ton of gameplay, and they did overhype that a little bit, but I think the way they did the show was a lot better than hyping everyone up and just having this Mystery Science Theater 3000 look behind the show. Just putting that out there.
All right, so let's. I'm bringing it back to the Medium because we are definitely going to go into the show in general after we get through the games. I will say, the game. You are a psychic, and I from what I'm hearing, there was a child murder. And you as a psychic, you feel compelled to go to this kind of abandoned building and try to figure out what happened within this murder. Now,
you're a medium, not a psychic. There's a difference.
Medium is the link between the living world and the dead, right?
Right.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I do know that though.
Miss Cleo is not a medium.
Miss Cleo is rich, is what Miss Cleo. Well, she was anyway.
She was. Nobody ain't heard nothing from Miss Cleo.
That's because she bought her own island and she's doing for herself now.
But shout out to Miss Cleo.
I will say the developers came out and stated that they basically with this game and its vision. That this had to be on next gen hardware. In other words, the way that they stated was they couldn't make this game on the Xbox One. And of course, I've had a lot of people come at me on Twitter because I talk a lot about scalability and all this good stuff. Now, this is where I will clarify this. When you're dealing with a medium and the game has a feature where you transition from the living to the world of the dead, they might be using something within that transition that they might not be able to duplicate properly on the Xbox One. Now, they would be able to get it done, but it would take a different way of doing it. And another thing developers will worry about is on the lower hardware, how is their game going to look and feel and be immersive? And with these developers, it's not saying that they can't absolutely make the game for the Xbox One. They just feel like the Series X is the way to go, and they don't want their game to get hurt by what it would look like on lower powered hardware. So it's not that the game can't scale down like that. There's certain instances, especially when it comes to something within transitioning the graphics. This is a very kind of like unique case when it comes to that. But people tried to call me out. My buddy Enrique, who got played last night horribly on Crossfire, decided he was going to come in. It's like, yeah, no, you said that. And I'm like, well, dude, don't do this to yourself, bro, because like you got to take a level-headed approach to this and kind of think about why or why not this game is not on that.
Enrique took a hit from the bot bat, dude.
He actually I had backup last night on Crossfire. Shout out to my brother Gaming Addict from the Iron Lords, and
he got the Addict bat then. Okay,
yeah, he got a double whammy is what he got last night, bro. But you know, when it comes down to it, man, you know, I fight on like two fronts, man. You know that. And it was a fun show, but that's what I wanted to say about that. I am really excited for the Medium. Anybody else on the panel want to chime in kind of like their thoughts when it comes to the game, the Medium?
I'm super excited for it. I think it's going to be probably one of the more good-looking next-gen games that we're going to see right out the gate.
Dude, the gameplay at the end, like at first I saw the trailers and
stuff
like that.
Whoa, what? What did you just say?
The gameplay at the end.
What? Wait. What? Say that again?
The gameplay at the end.
Okay, I don't know.
No,
I just wanted you to say. I just wanted you to say it.
I completely agree. I mean, the gameplay at the end was just
whoa. What did you just say?
The gameplay at the end.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The gameplay at the end.
K-Mega, can you point me to the gameplay for Scorn, though? I'm just wondering.
I can. You can just go look it up right now.
You just gotta go.
No, on the Inside Xbox show. No, see, we're jumping ahead real quick. We're jumping ahead right now.
We're jumping ahead.
Here comes the jump.
Going back to Medium.
We haven't even went into the games here. Come on now.
I think Medium is gonna be really good. The only concern that I have is that it's made by the same people who made Blair Witch and Observer and Fear. So that's a little.
I thought a lot of people like Layers of Fear.
I like Layers of Fear. No, Layers of Fear is really good, but the other two games that they made weren't as impressive or as good. But this game does definitely look impressive. This game definitely has that bigger budget behind it. I think this time around.
Yeah, I think Jamie hit the nail on the head with that one, man.
So. It's definitely going to be definitely a game up my alley because it reminds me of a lot of Remedy type of games. And it's going to have that horror aspect to it. And
it's exclusive.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, apparently, which they didn't really say in the show.
I'm just saying I smell acquisition.
Dude, don't jump
it's
the
an
gun.
apparent.
Damn.
It's an apparent.
It's a small. They do this.
Look
at Ninja Theory.
Does not mean that it's gonna happen, dude. I'm just saying.
No. It just. I smell it. That's what I said. I smell acquisition. Yeah. Like, dude, this is like a lot. There's plenty of people that enjoy certain games. This one is going to be for those type of people, but I smell big budget because of what I saw. All right. And a lot of people are ignoring the fact that if you're going to watch it on stream or you're going to watch it when they've uploaded the video, it actually looks different. Just to let y'all know. Because I watched it through Xbox's channel, and I watched it on Mixer, and it looks totally different. Just letting you know.
Well, Mixer definitely has a better kind of like it shows a better quality stream. The only thing bad with Mixer is whenever I try to stream live with the show on Mixer, it's a toss up on whether or not it's going to be stable or if it's going to if the stream.
Well, I'm gonna leave my point for the next one, but we'll leave it for the rest of it.
All right. Well,
I think Medium is built good enough to definitely show off what the Series X can do.
Medium was definitely one of the highlights of the show to me, and there were a lot of highlights to the show. There were a lot of things I really did enjoy when it came down to it. Anybody else when it comes to the Medium? Anybody want to chime in on their thoughts when it comes to that game? Because I love kind of like psychological horror games, stuff like that. So I am automatically in on this. The gameplay at the end really sealed the deal because, you know, when you see the trailer, you see things shifting, turning, stuff like that. Like, it started off weird with the ultrasound, but, you know, once you realize it's about a child murder, kind of makes more sense there. But the gameplay at the end, like when you go back and look at it and you see like in the abandoned building that she's in, you see that you know, the empty pool, the empty kind of like weathered and timed pool, and you see the light bouncing off of the tiles in there on the parts that are shiny and stuff. It graphically looks good.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of a shot at the Hollywood. They don't really make very good horror movies anymore, so I kind of have to go towards video games for good horror, and I'm glad that they're doing that. So I hope that games don't go towards the more Hollywood-esque way of doing horror,
just everything,
which I don't think they will, because I mean, there's just so much they can do with games that they can't do with film.
Jump scares and gore. That's what Hollywood has become. Just jump scares and gore, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, Crispy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Crispy, what is the game that you have decided to bring to everybody's attention tonight from inside Xbox?
The Ascent. My God. As soon as I saw it, I said, Hunter series, just in a cyberpunk realm.
Now, hold on real quick. Before you go in on I want to let people know that The Ascent is kind of like a cyberpunk environment, almost like a twin stick shooter. So
hold on, stop it.
Okay.
Ascent is a solo and co-op action RPG set in a cyberpunk world.
Well, that's how you should have started.
The mega corporation that owns you and everyone. The Ascent group.
They don't own me. What are you talking about?
Has just collapsed. Confusion, chaos ensue. Security and order are in disarray. And without protection, everyone is left to fend for themselves. Stop gangs and hostile corporations from taking over and discover what really happened in this explosive sci-fi shooter. Dude, I saw the game, and this, I'm going to tell you right now, this
I can hear the hype in your voice right now, bro.
This game had the most gameplay. This game is almost ready. The graphics looked as good as Gears Tactics, but you can play solo by yourself, or you could play co-op, which if it is what I saw, you could play with 3 other people, okay? And this completely reminds me of what I used to love in the Hunter series. Hunter Wayward, The Reckoning, one of the best top-down shooters I've ever played. You had special abilities, but it sounds like they're adding a serious RPG element to it. And this is made by Neon Giant, and Curve Digital. Curve Digital I have heard of before. I don't remember what other game they have. Shame on me. But I have heard of Curve Digital a few times. So clearly there's at least one of these devs that knows what they're doing. And what I saw was a shit ton of gameplay. That game is going to be day one for me because it reminded me of things that I've been asking for a very long time. I want to play with people, and the top-down type aspect with RPG elements, I haven't had enough of that. Like it's free roam. It's not like Gears Tactics where you're executing certain aspects of the game. This is more of you're going to do what you want to do, and hopefully your team backs you up, which I like, because if you have good communication, you're going to just destroy the whole world. and I can't wait. I mean, what I saw, the video of it and everything else is just absolutely incredible.
Dude, I hate to tell you this, but you have a very similar opinion to this game than somebody from Digital Foundry. I just want to let you know that. Like, he was absolutely hyped for this game as well. The scenery that we saw on the clips of this game, the gameplay clips and everything like that, it was so dense. It was so much detail to it. That's what really caught me. I'm not really a fan of games that have kind of like that camera angle. I'm not big
Top down shooters.
It's not really. It's like 3/4. It's not really completely top down, but it's got that dungeon crawl that type of.
It's not
of
cartoony
look to
enough
it.
for bot.
It's like Ruiner.
Stuff like that.
Redeemer. Yeah,
I like.
also really good game.
Strike.
I
So what you're
yeah.
saying is not as cartoony for you then?
Oh my goodness! I was just praising the aesthetics of this game, by the way. Like, but no, when it comes down to it,
Isometric is what
isometric.
What,
there
Iron
we
Mike
go.
And, Talus said.
There we go. Thank you, Iron Mike. Thank you, Talus. It's not really my type of game. I have a habit of losing my character in that, especially when there's a lot of enemies, all that good stuff. That's a me thing. But I can still say like what looks good from that and the environments that I saw and how detailed they were. That really kind of that was like a wow moment in my opinion. Who wants to chime in on the Ascent? Yeah.
That game looked gorgeous.
Let the guest go ahead and say what you got to say.
No, I was just going to say the game looks gorgeous. Like, I go for anything sci-fi / cyberpunk, and like it's Diablo with cyberpunk. So to me, that screams day one. It's also an Xbox exclusive. It's going to be 4K 60 on the Series X. And
ooh, thank you. I was going to say that.
Well, I'm glad Jamie's here to let everybody know.
No. Sometimes I got to let other people speak. I'm just saying.
No,
I do a little too much sometimes.
There's a reason why I'm saying that, bro. Go ahead.
It's just a good looking game, and like we don't have a lot of sci-fi Diablo style games. So for me, this game looks like it'll scratch that itch. And the whole show was filled with sci-fi games, so I'm just happy in general. But the Ascent, to me, was just visually impressive. Like the amount of detail in the environments, like stunning game. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
Nice.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, the detail is what really got me. I enjoy Redeemer and Ruiner. Those are especially Ruiner. Ruiner is a beautiful game. But this game made that look like nothing. Like it was absolutely very highly detailed. And then like what Crispy was saying with the whole deep RPG elements into it. And then I think it's going to be 3 to 4 player co-op. Sign me up, man. That's going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice. Anybody else for the Ascent? All right. Let's go to K Mega. K Mega, what game are you spotlighting from the Inside Xbox show?
Man, Turok. I mean,
second extension. Yo, for real.
I mean, when I first saw that game, that's the first thing I thought was like, is this a new Turok? I'm like, what's going on here? And man, the game is just really exciting, man. It's 3-player co-op. That was all in-game engine. If you go and look at their website, you could actually you could tell that it is in-game. It was in-game gameplay. It wasn't a trailer or anything with CG or anything. That's exactly how the game looks. It's well polished. Another thing too, if people haven't recognized, if you go to YouTube, they took down Xbox Inside Xbox, and then they brought it back up. And for if you want to look at it in 4K 60, you could go to YouTube and look at it that way, and it really pops. And what's crazy about this is that without the assets that you normally would see, because it's coming from another feed, think about it from how good that those games look, the lighting and certain other things that you've seen. just imagine what that's going to look like when it has full HDR, the VRS, and all these other capabilities add into it right in front of your face on your television screen. That's going to be crazy. These games already look good as it is. Just wait until they're right in your face. But that game, second extension, looks really, really dope. I'm all about playing multiplayer games with friends. Going in, you slaying dinosaurs. You battling a T-Rex with horns on it. Jack, I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? You got a raptor with electric all over it. You got an acid raptor. You got electrical raptors. You got all different types of creatures that you got to fight.
Did you almost kind of think that it was Dino Crisis at first?
No, I was thinking the first thing I thought was Turok. But
Yo,
yeah,
I think we said Turok,
Turok?
on the show as well. We're like, yo, is this Turok? Jamie, we popped off with that real quick. Like, that's what we thought.
Oh yeah, it looks exactly like Turok, and that's why I'm sold on it.
yeah, and I mean, and it's fast paced. It's going to be it's going to be really dope. Plus, it's one of those games that's going to be with smart delivery. So it's like, damn. I mean,
Well, I think all these games had the smart delivery kind of like badge in the bottom left hand corner. Anytime I looked down there was a smart delivery thing.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying. Well, I don't think Bright Memory didn't have smart delivery.
Bright Memories, they're aiming for 4K 60
Infinite.
with ray tracing. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. That's going to be sick. It's going to be real sick. But yeah, no, that was my game for me, man. It was just, it's all hype, fun, entertainment. Just go in, blast up some dinos, and have a good damn time, man.
All right. I gotta say, when it comes to Second Extinction, I will say graphically it looked good. You know, it's just for some rhyme or reason.
Go back and look at it at off of YouTube, the 4K 60, or even better yet.
I went back and checked out all the standalone trailers before the show today. So I did go back and give them all a second look, man. Yeah, dude, you act like I don't do the work that I'm supposed to do, bro.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't know. Like when we get to this next
it's because we don't agree on some things, man. All of a sudden I'm suspect, man. Yeah.
I don't know, little suspect, man. This week, but no.
Well,
but other than that,
I will say, for me, it's just I don't know what it is. It really didn't hook me. It didn't hook me. I was just like, yeah, okay. You know, if people like that, that's fine.
Do you know what I thought when I saw that trailer? I thought dinosaurs in Starship Troopers. You ever seen that movie? If you haven't seen the movie,
Starship Troopers is one of my favorite movies.
That's what I thought. The way the waves were coming at you and everything, I was like, my God, this is like dinosaurs as the bugs in Starship Troopers. And I'm like, holy shit, this shit's crazy. I was like super intrigued. I want to see more about it because it is first person and we know how I feel about first person shooters. Just saying. So
I don't know, like the environments, although they looked good graphically, and I feel like there are people that when I say stuff like this, they're just gonna go to the negative and they're gonna forget that I said it looked good graphically. But I felt like the environments were very generic, very kind of like cut and paste and stuff like that. When it comes to K Mega, first off, definitely want to see more on it. That I think that goes without having to be said. But K Mega was like, raptors with electricity and raptors with poison, and then a T-Rex with horns. But he's like, all these creatures, and I was like, well, you named like 3 different types of raptors and 1 T-Rex. I'm like, that's really not a bunch of creatures.
It's going to be more than that. The game is still in development.
I'm hoping. I'm
Lord
saying,
have mercy.
Do you see? Like I said, people will forget the first parts that I said and just go automatically into the negative and try to chew a brother out.
I ain't chewing you out. I'm just saying the game. If this let's just say they just give out those four creatures, then then like the environments. If we see more within the environments. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, it kind of looked like you're just in mountaintops, and then when you go and you look at other things, they're in like a city area. There's another area where they're coming out of a cave. And then it's probably just because of wherever the location of where the animals are. But we'll find out. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, there'll be
I got
definitely
I
more
got to
stuff to
give
come
my
out
honest
for it.
opinion on what they showed. And like I said, I would like to see more. If they come in and they got all different types of dinosaurs, you got the triceratops, you got all sorts of dinosaurs with their own kind of like spin on it. You got different swamp areas as opposed to the forest and then the snow areas, and they really kind of flesh it all out. Then I'll be like, you know what? I was wrong about my first impression. They're really going in. But as for now, it really didn't catch me. Anybody else on Second Extinction? Okay. Let's move to our brother Predator. He has been quiet, man. Like I
Just
want to.
listening, man. Just listening.
I want you had no opinions on any of the games we have talked about so far, bro. What is the game that you are highlighting for Inside Xbox, man?
I was actually gonna go with Corvus because I thought that K Mega was gonna go into Bright Memory, and I don't think anybody else picked that. If I'm not mistaken.
Did anybody else pick Bright Memory?
I thought somebody already said Bright Memory, or
Yeah,
I
so I
would
thought
have.
too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
no.
go into that because I just you're looking at my
Okay.
gameplay footage right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just Bright Memory. It is not Bright Memory Infinite. Yo, shout out to Pred. K Mega did send me gameplay as well, but man, he kept talking about it so much on GRG. I was like, yo, we got to give Predator some shine, man. He's gonna stand here solo with this gameplay.
So like the PC version you get is really short. It's like about you can actually run through it in about 30 minutes, but you do get Bright Memory Infinite for free if you buy it now on PC. So again, that's not the Xbox version. This is the PC version. So if you're one of those multi-platform players like I am, and you want to get this game now to test it out and see what it's about, pick it up on PC. So I was gonna go with Corvus, and I'll make my short blurb on that and say I've been looking for a space shooter for a while, and that game looks amazing. Like when I saw what I saw, and I'm not a huge space shooter guy, but I miss those days in like the '80s playing like R-Type and Herzog's Wii or whatever. Like I miss those games because we don't really get them like that anymore.
Yo,
It's
I
like
miss Herzog. Oh my goodness, you
yeah,
just made
when
me
you play
think.
those games like that now, they're like you fly here, you pick up resources.
Even
I just
Star
want to straight up
Fox,
shoot.
dude. Come on.
Yeah, like I want a space shooter. I'm just flying and shooting things, and and so when I saw that game, that just kind of brought back memories of those other games. So that was going to be my topic again because I thought someone else was going to pick this game, but I'm going to go with Bright Memory, basically because I just played it on PC. It's a really quick game on PC, and I think the guy just basically made. I don't want to call it a tech demo because it's one guy that made this game. He's doing it by himself. I hope that he's got more people working on it now, but for what I played, it's got a lot of promise to it. Like, there's puzzles, there's bosses, there's swords, there's guns. Like it reminds me of like a mixture of a bunch of different games. He's not doing anything new in the game, but he's doing it, I guess, differently. It's hard to say it that way, but I like what I played from what I played. I wanted more when I got done playing it. I was like, okay, what's the next level? But it was just like like I said, 30 minutes you can run through it. If after you play it the first time, it took me like about an hour, a little bit past an hour to run through it the first time. But when I ran through it the second time, because I knew where everything was, I just rushed through it. But from what I saw, it looks good. It was running at 60 frames. It was running, I think, at 1440p on my PC. No issues whatsoever. It looked good. I had no problems with the game running on what it's doing now. Now, the Infinite version that's going to be released after this is what I'm looking forward to more of. It's not an exclusive to Xbox. It's going to be on all platforms, so you'll get it everywhere. But I think he's got a lot of, I think he's got a good, solid foundation of what
Good
he's
framework here,
doing.
man. There's
Yeah.
definitely potential in this title, yo.
It's like a mixture of a bunch of games, man. Like when I look at the HUD, it kind of reminds me of the Division and Ghost Recon. When I look at like the gameplay, it kind of reminds me of like Oh shit!
To me, it's Titanfall when you don't have a mech and Shadow Warrior kind of like put together, man,
Yeah.
with the
It
speed
has
of
like
Doom.
yeah, it had like a mixture of a bunch of different stuff in the game. I was like, man, this feels like this, and do something else. It feels like that, and like it just had a mixture of a bunch of different games that I played. It's not doing anything new. It's just kind of combining a bunch of different stuff and putting it in one game, and with a story. It seems like it's got a decent story to it. So, um, hopefully, this guy gets more backing. He gets more people to help him because what I've noticed with Microsoft when it comes to AA games like this one, they delay the fuck out of them. And it's not because of Microsoft doesn't want them out. It's like the developers, the people who are making the games, they run into hiccups at some point in time. If you
Yo,
think
Crispy,
back,
can you send the Don a link? I did
Already did.
Okay,
Already did.
appreciate it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Man.
so what if you look back at 2013 ish, 2014? As I hate going back in time, but like Microsoft typically at E3 they do a sizzle reel, right, of these indie gamers, and they're coming out with games and they're gonna pop something out and like think of how long it took to get the original Ori, Cuphead, um, I'm trying to think of some other games, Below, right? Like when they Ashen, like when they looked really good from the beginning when we saw them in that sizzle reel. We're like, oh man, I want to try that game out. I want to try this game out. Try that game out. And it took them another 5 years
Yeah.
to get the game on the Xbox platform. And so that's my concern with all the games that were shown this week. Like that delay. Like I know some have release dates and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
were
say
working on
some of them, like a game like Bright Memory, I will give you because it's a monumental project. You got one guy, basically the core guy developing the game, which I'm like, you know what? If I were Xbox, I'd send some developers over to him, like, yo, you need some help with that? We got your back. And I think Xbox is really becoming known in the industry as a company that will do something like that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
hoping that they do that, to really kind of help him flesh out, get exactly, his idea for the game, to get it out there and to get it out into gamers' hands like as quick as possible.
Well, you say that, but like the old Xbox would have done that. The new Xbox is like, take your time. We don't want to, we don't want to intervene.
I think he
on
just
what
needs
you're-
the help, man. Unless he really
think he needs
wants
the
to be
bodies,
that
right?
one
Even if you
person.
send 3 people, I think it would be a huge difference in 3 people that he handpicks. You don't know. You
Look
know
at
what I
it this
mean?
way. All right, like if it's just him working on the game right now, and they send let's say 3, maybe 5, 10 people to kind of help him with some other assets, that's gonna give him a new vision. That's gonna make him change his stance a little bit. On what he
Ooh,
wants.
great point. It could. It might not. It might
It
not.
might, you're right. If
Or he
Microsoft,
might not, or he might not want anybody to be on it and
That-
just keep his vision.
That's another thing, man. He might want to be known as that one guy who did this. Like, you know what I'm
now,
saying?
look, like I was saying this last night in front of Don.
Might cut me off in the middle of my
In
segment.
fr- you- you
No,
were-
no, I
you-
just
you
want
were
to make
right in
that's
front of
always
Don?
my bad.
Man.
Yeah, I can't make it.
Always
That's my
does that.
job. What the hell are you doing, man?
Well, I mean, I felt your spirit, so I just had to do it. But no,
Oh,
I just
yeah,
want to
okay,
make
okay, got you. You didn't let me know.
yeah. I didn't let you down. No, I did because I want y'all's feedback on it. Like, there's a game that's going to go to PlayStation that's made by one developer. I think it's The Lost Aside. I was telling Don about it. It was a guy that gave a tribute on to Final Fantasy games, and his stuff looked absolutely insane. And people were like, "Whoa, you got to get this dude on!" And so he showed this game that looks so epic called The Lost Aside, which is going to be on PlayStation. Don't know if it's going to be kind of like the same thing like Bright Memory Infinite, but he's just one developer, and I don't think that he wants anybody to mess with his project. Now, some people may, but I mean, if this guy only wants to get all the accolades, then
Offer it.
Yeah, if he wants to just do it himself, then I mean, you can't get mad at it.
Yo,
Well, yeah, but like you look at it this way, like, okay, you're an artist, you have this vision that you want to do, and then somebody else comes in and says, "Hey, let me show you something."
Thank you, Lost Souls aside. Thank you, Lost Souls aside. That's
And they're like, "Yo, let me show you something else that you can do with this." And they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know I can do that." That comment right there is going to delay everything this guy was working on before.
I'm pretty sure he knows what he can do.
I know. I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just saying, like, but there might be some assets that he didn't have access to before that he has now, and they can implement that in the game he's making right now that will cause a delay. But again, I'm going to go back to my previous statement where I was talking about all the indies that Microsoft kind of partnered with in the past. They all got delayed or canceled at some point in time. I can't remember the name of the game. I had it on gameplay once. It was like the army game, like with the little green army soldiers, or whatever. It came out on PC, but it never came to Xbox. And I don't know why, but it just never made it. But it was on their sizzle reel at 1 year, or a lot of these like ID at Xbox games when they, we see them in the sizzle reels that they do on E3, and when they finally come out, like 2-3 years later, because like when you like, it's like mentally when we see E3, we see that ID at Xbox sizzle reel, we think those games are coming like right now. Like as soon as they get done, they'll be done within the year between that E3 and the next E3. And it never happens that way.
Stop giving Don this fuel, man. I already know.
I'm gonna give it to him. He can give it back to me. It's fine. But I've noticed that.
No, you're correct. Games get shown way too far out. That's what That's what bot wants. Bot wants to see things before they're ready.
You got it. You got to show the audience that there is a future beyond 18 months.
I got you.
Really?
He likes to taste the cake batter before the cake's done, right? Like,
right. Like, I mean, where's Wild? Where's Deep Down?
He's the guy that's going to get salmonella from eating cake batter and cookie dough.
Yo, you know what's funny?
I'll still do that shit, bro.
Speaking of salmonella, yo, shout out to my brother Lucifer hitting up that super chat, supporting the channel, and yeah, I'll say it, yo. Hello, gentlemen. Great podcast. Oh, hello, Xbot. K Mega rules. Okay, we're moving on here.
Let me finish this up, man, so we can get on to the next person.
Man, put some
let's keep going.
I said it, man. I addressed the super chat.
K Mega rules.
I want you to say it like you say Battletoads, man.
Oh no, man. He didn't ask for that. Yeah.
He didn't ask for that. He
didn't put in cartoon text is what you didn't do.
He didn't even put any exclamation points or nothing. He was just like,
well, guys,
let me wrap this up real quick so we can go on to the next guy. All right. So my biggest issue with like when I played the game on PC, there's no what's it called? Like you can't target the player. Like you can't target the enemy. Like there's no targeting whatsoever in the game. You're just basically going around in circles trying to get your camera straight so you can hit the guy. But I do think this guy's got a lot of good work that he's put in this game by himself, and I hope that Microsoft sends people to help him to kind of make it more of a polished game. I guess I'll say it that way, because what he's got right now is he's got a good foundation on what he's making with the game. It just needs a little bit more polish on it to make it to the console space and to do the infinite version he's trying to do on PC. But it's for what it is, the little $9 I spent on it, it was worth it. I had fun with it. It's definitely worth a buy if you're on PC to try it out. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Xbox version of the game. My issue with this game and a lot of the games they announced at the show were the delays. I think that are going to happen at some point in time.
I will say again, shout out to that developer for what he's doing, what he's done, and what he's working on now. I see a lot of potential there. I'm absolutely amazed at the quality of what we're seeing from him being one person making a game like that. Now I do know, Pred said once he figured out where everything was, he can beat the original Bright Memory in about a half hour or so. So we're hoping.
That's not me. I wouldn't time myself out like that.
Did Bot just do that to himself?
No, I didn't. K Mega got me, I bet. He's feeling some type of way today. I don't know what it is, man.
He's salty because Bright Memory is the same as Bright Memory.
Man, I saw the DMs. You pissed in his Cheerios. I saw that, man.
DMs?
Yeah.
I just shared my opinion, and he was the one coming at me like I was wrong. Like, okay.
Your opinion was urine and Honey Nut Cheerios is what was going on there.
Hey, yo, man. Anyway, my game that I'm bringing to the table is a game called Scorn. And I saw this back in about 2016, 2017. I think it was at an E3. It was at one of the gaming shows. And when I started getting into it, it is a first person, it's kind of like a slower paced shooter / puzzler. And when it comes down to it, the environments, your character is stuck in like a dream world trying to get out. And this dream world, it's not necessarily a bright and cheery dream.
It's a nightmare, dude.
It's basically a nightmare, all right? And
or a night terror.
What gets me about this game is the creativity in the environments. A lot of people point to like aliens and xenomorphs. They do have that kind of like exoskeleton look to it, but the creativity and how you're bringing that all together with like statues of the human body when it comes to certain creatures within this dream world. And even though what they showed on Inside Xbox, they're like, well, this is in-engine and all that good stuff. One thing, when I started digging into this game, the developer wanted to give Xbox actual gameplay of this. And unfortunately, Xbox said no, and they only had a 2-minute slot for Scorn. So they basically turned down the gameplay for this game.
Do you know why they turned that down? I bet because it's a little dirty. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Alien penis. Hey, dude, yeah. I mean, they showed that nastiness right there, man. But I'm really interested. I love the look of this, and it's gonna be on Xbox Series X, and it's gonna be on PC. And the quality of what they shown there, even though it was like it was in-engine kind of like footage, I can definitely see those environments actually being in the game. And there are certain things. It's a game that makes you want to look away, but you can't. It looks so insane that you want to keep going. You want to see what else is there. You want to keep going further. This game really has my interest. I have a feeling, playing this game, I'm going to be like, oh, and then, moving forward, got to get forward. Oh, no, moving forward, got to get through the game. I am really, really interested in this game, but I have been interested in this game since, like I said, about 2017 or so. Thoughts and opinions on Scorn, people? Who's first here?
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. I think. After seeing, I think at the trailer kind of put me off a little bit, and then when I went back and watched the gameplay from 2017, I was like, okay, this definitely looks like something I would play. It's definitely at first it's a little off-putting, I think, for some people.
Can I just stop you for 1 second? Shout out to Lucifer for hitting up that super chat one more time. And I'm going to read this word for word. You ready?
And put some emphasis behind it, sucker.
The best thing about Next Gen is even better K-Mega gameplay videos, 4K ray tracing. Woo! K-Mega points at Xbox. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's the way I'm looking at it. K-Mega
so
points at
you
Xbox.
He points at Xbox, but leans back when he does it.
So Lucifer basically worships the guy who hits the A button too many times.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
man.
much. Pretty much.
Your A button's the way to hell, man. Right now.
But go ahead, keep going, man. I just before
don't hit on the A button. That's your friend in Gears.
I think
Delilah said
Thank you,
it's
Lou.
disturbing. The game's
I think
disturbing.
Scorn is really gonna look really nice on the next gen console. Just because it looks like it's gonna be more of a linear type of game. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for it, but I don't know if I'm gonna completely invest in it day one or not.
Okay.
You know what I think about?
It's on Game Pass. How could you not invest in it?
I think it's very dirty game.
Because a lot of times,
aliens
I don't
involved.
play the Game Pass games right away. Sometimes I'll wait a little bit and then I'll play them.
Okay.
Sometimes that
All right.
happens.
I got you. I got you. I got you. I got
So
you.
you have to.
All
He has to invest his mentality. That's what he's
right.
saying.
That's what it sounds like. All right. Well, I mean, as for me, I think
Sounds like
I mean
Megan needs to invest in his intelligence.
Ooh.
Whoa!
I don't even know what.
Oh, wow.
Yo, K
Yeah,
Megan,
man.
you
Look at
sure you
this
want to
hate.
come
Listen
at
to this
me
hate.
today? Like
Oh no,
I don't
bro! Like
say
I said, I
anything
got
like that, man.
when we get into this next topic, man, he might not come back
Yeah,
for a
Megan, you went to
year.
community college, right?
I went
that
to I
counts.
went to more
What the
than
hell are
that.
you
Yeah,
talking
I
about,
got
man?
that.
I
Yeah,
went to community college.
no, I went to college.
Community
What you talking
college,
about?
more like
High school with cigarettes, I got you. But
Yeah.
give me the credit, man.
No, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Like
I'll put up my
charter school.
education against yours any day. We can do that. Anyway,
Ooh.
so the one
Oof.
point of the one point of it is this. I I'm not like bot when it comes to looking for scoring penis demons, but I am intrigued. But I did see the gameplay of it. It is wild, and there's no way in hell in certain cases. And then also all the blood and everything that it shows because it is a shooter. Um, and somebody in the chat brought up that it reminds them of Agony, which that was something that we talked about
We
in the
don't
beginning
say
of the
that.
show.
Yeah, we don't. Agony was a horrible
Agony is
game.
on a
Yeah,
Agony is on
Agony
a
was a
whole nother
terrible
level.
game.
The concept of Agony, I think, is dope.
Yeah.
But it's another game that's really wrong. But the controls are awful. At least they finally got the sound working. But this is like Agony on the next level on steroids. Like this is going to be bananas. And the gameplay, from what I've seen, which you could go check it out yourself, it's way smoother and more together just by what you see. The loading of the weapons is really weird, like because they look like these little speck bullets, and then it's got like a shotgun and the creatures in it. Like it is creepy all up and down. It is screaming my
Oh,
name.
yo, I'll
And
be
just like my
right
boy
back. Hold
Lou
on.
said, yeah, and just like my boy Lou said, I'll have to be showing this in that Ultra 4K. So I mean, that gameplay, King of the A button, has to be shown. So I'm really looking for it. Anybody else
Well, if this
got their
game has
thoughts on scoring?
more buttons than the A button, then you're not gonna play it.
I mean, I play a lot of games that has to use more than A button, but hey, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I mean, so if it's not A as the primary button, then I might have to think twice. So
Yeah, you might have to rethink your gaming.
yeah. What's up, Delilah? What's up, man? What's going on, man? Dude just walks away. But this is your show. What's going
I
on?
know,
All
right? He just walks away.
All
He's like,
right,
"Hey,
so
go
let me
check
ask
up
y'all.
on the.
Who didn't go?
I gotta go
Who we
check up on the
missing out
24 kids that I have."
Oh damn! See, that's disrespectful. You say Bot got
Macaroni and cheese.
damn. You said Bot got to make one of his
Oh, my-
25 kids a grilled cheese. And
No,
you
no,
said
I
come
thought
on.
I
Hey,
might have been burning down the house. Like I
Yeah,
smell
they said you
something.
couldn't
Otter,
pull out. Hey,
Otter
they said
just
you
was
couldn't pull out of
disrespecting you,
a
man. He
driveway.
said you got 25 kids, man, with a trailer. What's going on, man? You gonna let Otter keep coming in here and disrespect you
Dude,
like
I'm
this on your own
I'm
show?
trying to upgrade to a trailer. Right now, I have a Gremlin. Okay.
And a gremlin.
Oh man. Anyway. Okay. I'm glad
Well,
you're back.
all right,
Go ahead.
guys. So when it comes down to it, the Inside Xbox show, for what they showed, I gotta say I thought it was a good show for what they showed. All right. My problem came with the buildup of the show and how the biggest focus coming from Xbox was gameplay, official Series X gameplay. I feel like Xbox had a golden opportunity here to not only go in with gameplay, but to show other features as well. Like when it comes to,
Wait. I didn't get to say what game I was gonna do.
Oh, you didn't?
No, dude.
All right, let's pull it back. Pull it back, everybody. Pull it back. Pull it back.
Like second week.
This one's gonna be quick anyways, because you know what it is. It's Assassin's Creed.
Oh, there's a reason why I skipped over that. Anyway.
Oh man. But I think this game is gonna definitely showcase what the power the Series X can really do. Because I mean, Assassin's Creed Origins, when that came out around the same time as the
Damn, K-Mag getting impatient right now.
Whoa. He's got a very good point. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to say a good point here. When Origins came out right around the same time as the Series, it's the Xbox One X, that game really showcased what that One X could really do, like in terms of just resolution, more graphics background wise. It really made that game pop with the HDR and the 4K textures and everything. Like
Your
it
mic
was.
needs some HDR right about now.
Is it messing up?
Yeah.
Shit.
We were getting about 88% of what you were saying at that.
Yeah,
What
yo,
he's
yo,
saying
yeah.
is,
But can you-
that Origins gave you
Is it now or no?
great visuals.
Little bit.
It was crackly. It had the snap, crackle, pop.
So
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Uh-oh. Look at him. He sounds irritated.
imagine,
We're gonna get the
imagine,
angry otter now.
It's otter time. It's otter time.
You're about to get the angry outer pretty soon here, you fucks.
Yeah.
Hey, we're just telling you what's going on, man.
Man.
What is it getting
I'm
hostile
trying to
for?
listen to what you were saying. I mean, we couldn't hear everything, but go ahead, man. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I just think that the game's gonna look really good. I think it's really gonna showcase what the Series X can do, especially from that third party aspect. I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a smaller game than their previous ones like Odyssey and Origins. I think Origins and Odyssey were just massive. I think Origins was smaller than Odyssey, and Odyssey was just way too huge, way too big. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I put plenty of hours into it, but I think if they scale it back a little bit with this one, it'll definitely appeal to more people. I think.
They did say that it was not going to be as big as Odyssey, and I'm totally
Yeah.
right, 100%. That game was way too
Let's
big.
hope so.
Way too big.
Way too big.
That's what
One
she
thing I noticed with Valhalla, like, people were asking for gameplay because, that's the word that was spoken before the show. If you go in and you look through those clips, you will see in-game stuff.
There is
like
some
when
game,
and
stuff.
and I was pointing it out, with Jamie. I think you were there. Were you there then?
Yeah, I was there.
Dark?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's gameplay. Like, at least the scene came from the game. Like, I tried to say, when your bird circles around and you're getting your map for the area. Like, I'm like, yeah, that some people might actually confuse that for a cutscene, but when you got your character coming in and jumping in with a high knee and such fluid animation and all that good stuff, that was straight cutscene right there.
Do you know what? I'm
Right.
thinking this for this game is that the sea battles that they're going to involve. I mean, the dude that worked on Black Flag is doing the game. Okay, so the sea battles that are involved is going to extend the game because a lot of people forget, like Black Flag had you had the sun, and then all of a sudden it was just like this giant storm, and you were trying to battle this other ship, and it was crazy. Like you were
Black
throwing
Flag was the last
mortars at it.
Assassin's Creed that I played until the end that I completely beat.
And that darker tone, I almost feel is going to happen. They said
It
more
is.
gore,
Yeah. Valhalla's gonna be very dark.
This is what I want from Assassin's Creed. I want to
Dude,
feel like a
the
fucking
dismemberment.
god. And they're giving references to Thor and Poseidon. Dude, you are gonna feel like a god by the time you're done with that game.
See,
Yeah,
Black
that
Rider
game-
says Vikings don't have sea battles though.
I kind of see
You
where
guys
Bot-
just call him Seabass
But-
the Viking.
But I can kind of see previous statements from Bot, saying it's not going to be very Assassin's Creed like, and I get that. Like they're kind of going away from that kind of direction where it's
They
completely
need to change
stealth
the name then, man.
and
Thank
stuff.
goodness.
But I enjoy what they've done with the series so far. I enjoy the more actiony, and then being able to do some of the stealth stuff if you want to. So I'm all invested. I'm just a huge Assassin's
I'm
Creed
gl-
fan.
I'm-
You can call me a Ubi fucking fanboy. I don't give a shit. But
dude,
Ubisoft
I'm
has
glad.
been
Hold on.
giving them the best
Chris,
graphics.
Chris, calm down,
Just
brother.
saying.
Chris, calm down. Yo, one thing I want to say, just because I feel a certain way about Assassin's Creed and where it's going, I am not out there trying to tell anybody that you should dislike
No,
it.
yeah,
If you like it, I'm glad that they're evolving the game for you guys. Every time I hear the name Assassin's Creed, it just makes me think
brings you back to like Brotherhood and those games, right?
When I really liked that series, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wish that they would, if it was somehow, some way, if they want to go this way, if they can do something, branch off something and make a really built from the ground up with stealth in mind type Assassin's Creed. And then not only that, but to see what they did with a stealth game. I've been wanting another Splinter Cell for a long time, but I'm a little iffy about this Ubisoft making a Splinter Cell right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's because Ubisoft, it's not in their. They really want to go more towards that open world type of games, and
Witcher-esque, yeah.
Yeah, which are kind of like, which I think they kind of realized like was too big with Odyssey. And I think that's why they're scaling this one back. So we might see a Splinter Cell, but I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly how you would.
Do you see, like, for me personally, that's my concern, and like,
yeah, I could see that.
I'm it kind of makes me hang my head a little bit. Like, I know, shout out to Albert in the chat who's been on absolute fire. He's like, I like how AC is now. The first games were too boring. Me, that slower paced and that strategy.
Hey, I saw what you did.
That lower pace, that slower pace, and that strategy for like figuring out exactly how you're going to get into the place that you have to get into, get to your target, and get out without being spotted. I like that. I like all the planning before time and stuff like that. Man.
I've always enjoyed the Assassin's Creed games, so it's I'm really biased towards the Assassin's Creed games, so it's very hard for me to be like I hated a certain one because they've all.
Well, I didn't hate any of them. I just felt like that. The thing that brought me into the Assassin's Creed...
the black flag.
Shut the fuck up, Crispy. Yeah, like, I'm just saying that I feel like the thing that brought me into the franchise was the thing that they left on the the front doorstep. You know what I'm saying? When it came to these other games. That's all I'm saying. Like, I never try to tell anybody what they should like or what they shouldn't like. All I can do is give my opinion. And with that being said, the Inside Xbox show. Again, I am going to state the positive here, which is going to be completely ignored. I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed what they showed. I feel like the downfall was how they marketed this show up until it went live. They were talking about full reveal Series X gameplay, and that was the hook. In marketing, they call that the hook. That was the thing that got more and more people to be like, yo, I am going to check this out, right? They thought they were going to go deep into gameplay. And there was gameplay for certain games shown, and the other stuff was in-game engine and not necessarily gameplay. So with that being said, there was a backlash. And of course, people like Christopher, who's in the chat, thank you for being here. Man, I don't even know why you're saying it's a huge letdown. Anything Xbox would have shown in Inside Xbox would have been a huge letdown to you, or you would have swerved it into something that, PlayStation, all right?
Spider-Man was better.
Me coming as a consumer who is looking at both these platforms the same way I did in 2012, leading up to Xbox One and PS5, I am going from an even playing field. I want to see what both have to offer. I want to see the launch lineups, and I want to see the future of the games that are coming out on the system, and that will be what I buy first. All right? So with that being said, I felt like their marketing leading up to this show is actually what caused a lot of backlash. And it wasn't just the PlayStation extremists either. There were diehard Xbox people who were stating that, that marketing and the show really didn't match up for each other. And it got to the point where Aaron Greenberg came out and apologized. He said that basically, if they didn't market it the way they did and they just showed an inside Xbox, there would have been a way better reaction. Now, that is me loosely quoting him, and I agree.
Very loosely.
I agree with what he said.
That's why I think Aaron Greenberg needs to like kind of take the reins a little bit on these a little bit, because he's that kind of guy that's just gonna be like, we're gonna market it this way and not the way that he's kind of like he knows like some of the more like because he's the marketing guy, right? I mean he's part of that team, right? So he kind of
he's the head of marketing.
Yeah, and which is weird as to why he wouldn't have went out and said we need to pull the reins back on saying that it's
I think he really felt like what he was showing was exactly what they were marketing. All right. And when it comes down to it, not only that, but my own personal opinion, like I was saying before, I feel like they had a golden opportunity to go all in Series X and give the people out there, because there were like PlayStation guys, because Push Square did an article that we're going to watch this show because, they're going to see PS5 games for the first time. That's when you go all in Series X and you show a game like Ascent, which we saw a lot of gameplay of, and they record somebody actually booting up the game, showing the load time, and then going in on the game. Stuff like that. Stuff really going all in. All your chips in on Series X and the gameplay for the games that you were showing. I feel like they had a golden opportunity here to grab a huge part of the gaming community when it comes down to it. The hype has been building up for the Series X, and I feel like what Aaron did when he came out and apologized, he stopped anything from slipping down deeper. In terms of taking away hype. And I feel like he did the right thing. But at the end of the day, I cannot match the marketing with the show we saw. Was the show good? Yes, it was definitely good. Is it what they were marketing? Even though they did have bits and pieces and games with some gameplay, I feel like the way that they were heavily marketing the gameplay reveal, they should have went all in with actual gameplay. And then there wouldn't have been this backlash.
Go to K Mega first, bro.
Go to K Mega?
Yes.
All right. I was gonna go to Jamie. I don't know why. Crispy wants
go
me to
go to the guest. Go to the guest first, and then
Jamie,
go to me.
what do you think? What do you think about this?
Jamie, it's a setup, man.
Watch out, Jamie. What do you think about this backlash here?
That's rude. He's quiet for a while.
When it's all said and done, like I can see where extremists from both sides, like they're either gonna absolutely love it and completely nail it, or it's gonna absolutely be hated. But I've seen a lot of logical Xbox guys saying, you know what, that marketing didn't match up with the show we saw. What is your take on, the overall feel of the show, what people were saying about the marketing, and then what Aaron Greenberg did on Twitter that, when he came out and kind of apologized?
I mean, like, if anyone here has been following me long enough, you know that I'm a fairly relaxed, chill guy. I don't really, be super serious about stuff, It's gaming at the end of the day.
Thank you.
And when it came to this whole, the reaction about the Inside Xbox, I think you're right. There was mixed messaging. They did kind of overhype it. That being said, I enjoyed every game they showed. I thought each game had something interesting to offer, but, they should have showed more gameplay of each thing. And, Aaron Greenberg did overhype it. But this is the thing, all these events get overhyped. The PlayStation thing in March got overhyped, and that was a dude talking on stage for 45 minutes about SSDs. It is what it is. And the thing is, they'll learn from this, buy better mics, buy a webcam that's higher than 210p.
The webcam thing and the mic thing, I use as a joke. I think it's funny because, when you look at Phil Spencer, when he came out with his mic, I was like, I can't believe that.
He does need a new mic, though.
Yeah, I can't believe that mic. And then, with Aaron, at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal. The bigger deal is it was a good show, but it didn't match the marketing.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, I don't cry over spilt milk. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened to Xbox. Like, look at 2013. Is what happened the other day really that bad compared to what happens in general? Like what happens inside Xbox wasn't this drastically terrible thing. We got slightly overhyped for a third-party game of a real event, and the games that they showed there I thought were cool. Were they massive games? Did we get things like Batman and stuff? No. But those stuff,
Elden Ring would have been a great place if they had something ready.
It's just that, all these events kind of get overhyped. And the thing is, like, I've noticed this for a while that developers seem to be moving away from gameplay demos. If you look at E3 last year, and I mean every single presser, no one showed gameplay demos. They just showed trailers with little snippets of gameplay.
It's less the developers and more of the publishers.
Well,
the marketing teams are going towards what you're saying.
Well, either way, it's something I picked up on, and it's something other people will pick up on. Like, it seems like, we see less of these 5 to 10 minute gameplay demos, and that could be an issue going into a new generation because, look, the longest gameplay we've seen for a next generation game is probably the Halo footage. When it comes to the PlayStation 5, what have we seen? We've seen some snippets of Godfall, and that just looks like a shiny Darksiders to me. The thing is, these developers and these publishers and whatnot have to be slightly more honest when it comes to how they're going to market these games and talk about them, because look, everyone got overhyped for the event, as did I, and what was there didn't reflect how they hyped it, but it's not the end of the world. I enjoyed what was there.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to developers and publishers, I bring you back to the whole Scorn situation where they wanted to send gameplay and Xbox said, no, you have a 2-minute slot, and that's pretty much it. They came out and basically they stated that. So, at the end of the day, I know, these developers, these publishers, for the most part, send this stuff over. But Xbox says yeah or no. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if they knew they were going to market it this way, I feel like they should have approached it differently. Like I wish I was working at Xbox.
Yeah. It was a time constraint thing. It wasn't so much they wanted a CG or like you know what I mean. It was, hey, you got 2 minutes. This is your slot. This is too long. That's all it was. And so they basically, that's what they decided to submit. So it's not like they didn't want gameplay. They just want the gameplay to be limited to a certain time frame.
I got people over here like acting like I'm a flip flopper and stuff like that, just because I feel like I am constructively criticizing something that I feel was a misstep on their part. I am not going to sit there and just gladfully accept everything. If I feel there's an issue, and I don't care what platform it is, I'm going to speak my mind.
Yeah, and you should look at everything. And I'm telling you, that's part of it, so you can't glance over it.
All right.
Exactly. Okay. So
you still have an opinion.
Is it my turn, or do you have more to say?
Are we going to talk about one word marketing? Oh, it's just one word, man.
Yeah. Let's get into it, right? Okay. So I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to continue to say it. Just like you like to lay your opinion, I damn sure lays mine, and don't give two shits about what anybody think about it, because this is the biggest problem amongst the Xbox community. They get into their own way. Constantly listening to this bullshit right here. Well, they overhyped us. You should be fucking overhyped because it's gaming, not because of a word.
Don't you go by what they say before the show comes out, though, man?
Hey, I didn't interrupt you.
Don't
when
they
you
set
talk.
expectations,
Please let me say what I gotta say. They're saying no, I don't. Let me be real with you.
I don't.
I get, when I go to, there's only one event that I get really, really, really hyped as, and that's E3. I don't get hyped for Gamescom. I don't get overly hyped for XO, for PSX, for the PlayStation event, for the Treehouse event, for Direct Nintendo. I don't get overhyped for that But I do come away like this. I am going to be entertained not entertained. I'm going to be excited about at least one game. There's going to be one game that's going to catch my attention. I'm like, I'm going to get that. On every conference that they've ever shown, from the PC conference on down, some of them are boring. Some of them are very exciting. There's some people that's witty. There's some people that's not. There's some people that aren't funny. There's some people that are. But regardless, I come in it as a gamer. The problem is that there's people that's in this community that wants to be fake ass Dan Rathers instead of gamers, going back to the essence of what the hell we are. I don't care about what your YouTube channel may present. Get back to the fundamentals. That show, you contradicted yourself within what you were saying, Bot. You're going to say, because you make this point of saying, well, the show was good.
Yeah.
The show was good.
I don't
but
like
I got to stress on this word of gameplay and the marketing. Do you not know that marketing is totally different than what the fuck it used to be? Wait, let me finish.
But
you can rebuttal what I say, and then we can go back and forth.
You just questioned my integrity. When it comes down to it, I am a gamer, but I am also a YouTuber for gaming news. So I have to keep the community in mind as well. Did I like the show as a gamer? Yes. When I started seeing the backlash coming from Xbox guys in the terms of marketing, I had to look at it.
Was the backlash warranted?
Yeah, they misrepresented the show.
What? You said they nailed it when it came to the content, but yet they failed.
I said I liked the content that they showed. But it wasn't what they hyped up.
There's people that's been on this show, and they've sat there and they said, I don't want to see remasters. I don't want to see Forza, Halo, Gears. I want to see something new.
I'm not talking about
They gave you something new. Oh, I am, though.
But why are you letting them dictate your narrative?
Because it's all got to be addressed. Because this is the thing that this.
Dude, you've been hanging around in Fanboy Central for way too long.
Oh my God, no, I haven't. The problem is that you make. Look at the content that was presented. If you are this super neutral,
look at your feed on
Twitter, neutral. I mean, that's because people don't like what I say because I'm very opinionated.
Yeah, so you're surrounded by that.
I don't cower and just go, hey, and then run off. But to say that somebody can't.
But to say that somebody can't.
Next podcast.
This is the point.
Brothers.
Let them work it out. Just let them
we'll work it out.
We'll let them finish.
The point of the matter is that we keep getting in. We as Xbox gamers keep getting in our own way. Listen. The way that news gets presented to everybody now is instant. Right after the people were saying, well, why don't we get this? Why don't we get that? Right after that, the show was over. Boom, we found out that Xbox had some exclusives. Did the same people that was bitching about the gameplay situation, did they bring that up? No, they kept on with that same bullshit as they have been because they keep waiting for other people to like something that they will never get. Do you ever think that some people that comes into this chat that always negatively say something about Xbox is going to say something positive for each soul? No, they're not. They never will because they may.
I don't care about them, man.
Obviously,
the
outrage was unnecessary.
I care about my subscribers and giving them the common sense.
That's not common sense. That's ignorant.
How is that not common sense? I'm not going to roll over and be like, yeah, no, everything was great. Oh,
common
dude,
sense is this.
you headlined in big gameplay reveal, Series X. I'm going to ignore everything you said and just be like, yeah, that was a great show. It was completely spot on to what you were hyping up the crowd for, man, because it wasn't.
Check it out.
Oh, man, dude.
Check it out,
Come
bro.
on, guys. Come on.
Let them work out. I've been around a while. Just let them work out.
No. Me and Bada boys will always
I'm smiling right now. What are you talking about?
I'm not mad about it. I'm just making the point of this. We constantly keep getting in our way. Look, when I was trying to make my point before you interrupted me, was that the news is constant. It's not like in the old days where we had to wait a week to get some kind of content like we did when we watched G4 every week, or we had to wait for EGM to come every month. It's instant. It dropped right there after the show did. They took the damn show off, brought it back to 4K 60 to some people see who has 4K 60, the proper televisions to see it or monitors to see what these games look like. That's not even fully finished yet, and they still look hot. The thing of it is that they did their job on presenting content. They're the only ones that's really drawn up, given the content. Other than Nintendo, the other competition hasn't.
Just because
and you know, but hold on. Let me make my point, bro. Let me finish.
Man, I guess I should have had a pen and pencil. We can't go back and forth. Man.
Well, you need to take these notes because you're getting educated right now.
No,
this is what Xbox fans need to understand. This is what Xbox fans need to understand right here. You know what? When PlayStation shows whatever they're going to show here next month, it doesn't matter if it's not even on the same level of what we've seen from inside Xbox this month. The other day. They're going to still be hype about it. And when they show trailers, and we can sit there and play a drinking game of how many games they're going to have somebody standing there with a controller showing gameplay. They're going to show the same type of shit. And then I guarantee you, nobody's going to get drunk. They're not even going to get buzzed, because the fact of it is, this is just how the marketing goes. It still will show gameplay. They're showing what the game looks like in engine. It's not, if it's not CGI, if it's all CGI, I totally get it. And I do understand about, criticism. Yeah, you could have said, look, I'm knocking that because I didn't give it an A. I sit there and I gave it a B. But if you say I want to give it a C because, hey, man, I kind of was looking forward to the gameplay aspect, but this wild notion that this is way over the top, Aaron Greenberg, or every Matt Booty, everybody needs to be fired and let go.
I never said any of that.
Oh, no, you should have read more comments. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Asinine.
Yeah, but guess what, dude?
And hold on, this is what's going to hurt at the end of the day? This is going to hurt.
Gamers.
That is not logical.
What you were saying was not logical. And those aren't the people. People saying everybody should be fired and stuff like that. Dude, let me respond. The people on my side on this one. Yo, let me respond real quick, because guess what? You're grouping me in a group of people that are saying everybody should be fired. That's not what I'm saying at all.
I didn't say that. I'm saying that there was fans that said that, and just think what personal
those
attacks
are the people I don't
that Aaron
give a
Greenberg
shit about,
they're
man.
human beings. That's don't make no.
Those are the people I give two shits about. When it comes down to it, one of the things that you complain of when it comes to the PlayStation extremists is that they just roll over and accept everything, right? It's something that we have said throughout the years. When there's something to be critical about, that we will do it on the Xbox side. We hold ourselves to a higher standard when it comes to that. And that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Where the standard becomes too overwhelming. That's the thing that I'm trying to say. Can't we get back to the essence of what we are as gamers and just enjoy a damn show? Like, look, I can get like this right here should have been discussions in podcasts, not social media blowing up and taking away all the good things that show did present. It was first off, it was the best inside gaming inside Xbox that we've ever seen. It was the best one, hands down. There was nothing better than that. And then also the contradiction for those people that's been bitching and complaining, they were the first ones to say, hey, I don't want inside Xbox to be an hour and a half. I don't want it to be 2 hours long. I don't want you to show me gameplay or talk about developers. I want to see. I just show me the do it like how PlayStation does it. Yeah, am I lying about that, Bot? Am I lying about that, Bot?
Y'all want to do a 2-person show? Go right ahead. I'm just saying.
Okay, no, I'm gonna lax off, and then I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get back into it again. But the point of the matter is that
that's why you gotta let it finish.
Xbox fans keep getting in their own way. And the one thing it's going to hurt is them, because they want to try to come out and be fake ass IGN journalists instead of being gamers. And they're going to get to a point to where these Xbox executives and shit is not going to be so friendly next time or listen to this so-called
why don't you
constructive
say what
criticism.
You said last night? Fake neutrals trying to get acceptance from people.
I'll rest my case until
that's why I fight on both sides all the time, whether it's Xbox extremists, whether it's PlayStation extremists. I prefer to play on Xbox, but I will not. If I see something that I'm like, damn, yo, they definitely could have done something different there. Oh man, look at that. Like they hyped up something that they really didn't come through with. I feel it is my responsibility to say something. I'm not putting Xbox through the ringer. or anything like that.
Like
I
they did get put through a ringer when they showed a good.
I didn't do it.
What's the purpose
did not
of that?
do that.
PlayStation can show
I
a controller,
did not.
a logo,
No,
and the
PlayStation
hype
can show
is
whatever
still
the
strong.
fuck they want. I'm
Xbox
not
fans have to
talking
go
about Sony.
well and beyond in order for
See,
to wait
that's
on
the
somebody that will
problem.
never tell them that
That's
shit's
the
going to be good,
problem.
man. It's
You
crazy.
keep
Like I said,
going
I
back.
rest
You
until I get
keep
back.
going back and
I'm
comparing
hyped, boy. I'm hyped. I'm ready.
Xbox with Sony. You keep going back. I'm looking at this as an Xbox show, regardless of whatever the fuck Sony does. All right? I'm looking at it as an Xbox show. It is the platform I prefer to play on. So if I think that there are things that they could do better, I will put it out there. I'm not just going to be like, oh, yeah, no, that was great. Absolutely amazing.
You're getting bot.
Brother,
dude.
you obviously haven't watched the shows from back in the day, man.
Is this the best inside Xbox show you've ever seen?
Answer the damn question.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of other shows.
Jeez, give him a second.
Oh shit!
I'm sorry for trying to give.
He's gonna
time,
pivot, man.
Mega does that all the time. You got to answer the question right then and there. Otherwise,
hold on. No, I didn't put Xbox through the ringer. I am being constructively.
No. We're not saying that.
No, I'm talking to other things because he thinks I'm just absolutely wrong with this, and I feel bad if you think that.
Look. Answer the damn question, dude.
It's one of the top ones.
This is the best Xbox.
It's one of the
inside
top
Xbox. Inside Xbox I've ever seen. And
I'm sorry. So since I didn't agree with your idea that it was the greatest, and I really want to reflect on other ones I saw.
Oh my God!
No, wait.
All right,
go on to Crispy.
Y'all go ahead.
Crispy, go.
Listen, go Crispy. Go Crispy.
I'm
muting my mic. I'm muting my mic.
Considering the
go ahead,
circumstances, what I'm saying is it was not perfect by any means whatsoever. It was not perfect. Did they market wrong? Twitter is powerful. Like, I don't know if these gaming companies understand that Twitter is powerful, for the love of God. Like, Aaron Greenberg with his little, you see those game, the game changing and you're going to want to buy a Series X. That was stupid. Okay. But for the most part, Xbox in general said, hey, we're doing this, and this. You're not going to see first party, which they were on point. They didn't throw us a curveball or nothing, which is fine. But I saw a ton of games that I actually want to play that are either third party or second party exclusive. And there's a bunch on Game Pass. Dude, I was like, holy shit, these games look amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't in the live stream. I didn't watch it live. I didn't. I came back and I watched the whole thing by myself on my great TV, on my Xbox One X, on Mixer, and it was preloaded. And this is what I go and say. Okay, you know what? We have some really unprecedented circumstances at this point. Okay, you can't do what you want to do on live stream, and regardless, I don't think it's even possible with what everybody's watching on to show what you're actually capable of.
Yeah, no, streamers don't do that on a daily basis. Streamers don't do that on a daily basis, right?
A lot of people are saying that ray tracing and everything else was not in the live streams, okay? Because that's all they watched. And what I'm saying to you is if you go back and watch the actual video, you will understand what I have said. Either you don't have a good enough hardware, which I'm fine with. I'm not talking shit. Don't buy a Series X yet. You need a good TV or monitor, and you need the hardware to back it up.
Dude, I didn't say any. Hold on, Crispy. I didn't say anything about the show. I didn't say anything about the game shown. Actually, I said it was a good show. My problem was the build-up from Xbox before the show.
So you're talking about the marketing.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. I don't understand why people are like,
I agree with you, but you're getting... You're getting in too in depth. Like, dude, like this is the best inside Xbox I've ever seen with the circumstances involved. That is pretty amazing. Okay, you can't deny that. All right, Xbox is on point.
Actually,
they know how to work these things.
Actually, if you're talking about with these circumstances, I did point to the fact I believe Microsoft owns a platform of streamers in terms of gameplay. I think they can learn a thing or two about showing gameplay in their show.
Did Aaron Greenberg acknowledge that?
He apologized. He said if they did not market it that way, and that this is a loose quotation, if they did not market it that way and they just put out an inside Xbox, he feels like there would have been a completely different reaction. And I agree with him. I agree with him.
The only problem that I had is they said they emphasized gameplay with Valhalla, okay? And they emphasized it till no end. And they showed very little. Like I said, I picked Ascend because not only am I interested, but it showed the most gameplay. And I feel that game is most ready to come out very soon. And that's why I picked it, because it reminded me of old times, and it reminded me of what the Series X is going to be capable of. Because even K-Meg said, hey, Gears Tactics is fire, okay? And he's not a gearhead, all right? I'm a gearhead. I'm jealous that he's playing it. But that's besides the point. I saw visuals that I saw with a first party, or at least, subsidized first party in game, and I said, holy shit, this game looks amazing for a top-down. And I said that's crazy that they're able to do this. There's so much detail, and for games to be exclusive to not only Game Pass or Xbox, that they showed that a lot of people are realizing that are exclusive, and
which they should have stated in the show, which is another misstep when it comes down to it.
Why is that a misstep? Because they go and do that, and then people just hate on it. So why do
it after then? If people are going to hate on it, see, like you're talking in circles as well. When it comes down to it, right? When it comes down,
whoa! I ain't gonna let you
he's gonna wrap it up,
bro. No. That's bullshit, Bob.
You didn't even let me
can't
finish,
sit there.
though.
You can't sit there and then cut him off with that bullshit, man. Listen, just because you're the goddamn host doesn't mean that you can sit there and just let that disrespect that boy like that. You let him rebuttal that because that was garbage. Just because you don't like what we got to say doesn't mean you got to.
All I'm gonna say is you go vice versa, which they've done. They've already done that. They said exclusive or timed exclusive or this and that. They've done that, and people have called them out about it. So why not at least be the subtle part of that and go and tell me that it is totally different? I saw a new IP all which way, except 2 games, for the love of God.
Okay.
And I saw
and I have no problem with the show.
That are actually, some of them are second party, because Xbox ain't trying to shit on PlayStation. They're buying their Azure servers. Who gives a fuck?
I had no problem with the show. How many times do I have to say that? You keep on describing what you saw in the show, and I'm saying that's not where my issue lies.
You don't sound like you had no problem with the show.
Dude,
I'm going to tell you right now.
Do I have to say that? Yeah, we just went through all the games.
For an inside Xbox, this is a 10 out of 10 to me. 10 out of 10.
Okay, I'm happy for you, dude. I am very happy for you. But like I said, I did not say I had a problem with the show. That was not my issue. All right. And at the end of the day, it's not even a big issue, but people slamming down on me, saying things like, fake neutrals looking for acceptance from other people. And I don't look for acceptance from anybody. If anything, I stick up for Xbox all the way through any of the shows I have done. But I have also stated when I felt like they did something wrong, I have also stated that. And as soon as I state that and not claim absolute perfection when it comes to the Xbox platform, I get hammered from the complete other side.
We
Which
agree
is
on
bullshit.
marketing, bro.
Hold on.
So you don't deny that you're not a fake neutral.
No, I'm not.
All right, Xbox, you're taking it too personal. Move on to the other panel members because you're trying to defend yourself with everybody here, and other people have shit to say.
Okay, well, Pred, what do you got to say, bro?
I don't even know what the fucking question was.
Came down
all
to,
this arguing, I don't even know what it.
I can run right back to it, yo. When it comes down to it, the Inside Xbox show, the main thing that came out of that afterwards was there were people out there that really kind of clamored the marketing did not match up with the show. You're hyping up, this reveal of Series X gameplay, and there's people out there that didn't feel that the marketing matched up to the show. Now, do they have something to say? Because Aaron Greenberg came out and apologized for that, and they said, thank you for the feedback. We will do better, basically.
All right, so I will agree with you. I don't think the marketing, the way they marketed it was like it was going to be like straight up gameplay. When we hear the word gameplay, we're thinking of a person with a controller in their hands playing the game, or like even if it's a video of someone like just playing the game, we look at it that way. And I think in our minds, that's what we wanted, and we did get some of that. Like, let's not mistake that. We did get some gameplay of a lot of games, but they also said, gameplay trailers that allow. If you look back, like it's like saying it so early in advance, and then people forget it that Microsoft said what they said about it, just not just being gameplay. They forgot about the other part that Microsoft said when they mentioned this whole event, right? People just focus on the word gameplay, and then they kind of market it as Series X gameplay. You get to see this shit on the Series X, and I think people kind of hung on to that. And then when you look at the gameplay that we saw, like if we're just focusing on the games that we saw, we knew well in advance that this was going to be AA games from the partners that work with Microsoft, right? We knew that, but we kept expecting more. We kept expecting more from them. We kept expecting, a teaser of this, because we talked about this last week. They're gonna do this, but we kind of hope we can see something, a little bit of this and that, Fable or whatever. We didn't listen to that part of it. Like we kind of hung on to the part that we wanted and not listen to what they said was coming. And we kind of fucked ourselves in that. And we do this every year. We do it every E3. We do it every Gamescom. We do it every single fucking year. We get our mind set on what we want to see and not listening to what they told us they're going to show us. Because they tell us in advance, right? Am I not mistaken for that? They tell us.
No, you're
show
right.
them.
No, you're right. Yeah, they
PlayStation.
PlayStation, what you call it? The place. What is it? State of Play.
Mhm.
State of Play got critiqued one time. They either PlayStation fans hated it or they loved it.
Yeah.
Nintendo Direct, same thing. Get critiqued. Inside Xbox get critiqued every episode.
They get critiqued harsher, and I think the reason why I got critiqued so hard on this one is because they threw in Series X gameplay. Those words is what we expected. We expected to see something taking control of that system and looking like a next gen gameplay. And we didn't get that. And even with the Assassin's Creed debacle, they didn't really show gameplay. They showed the game. They didn't really show gameplay. Like I know last year or when Odyssey came out, they showed some guy playing the game for like 20 minutes. That's what people expected. And maybe we could have gotten that after the show, but we didn't get that either.
But we also in a pandemic too. So I mean,
that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
PlayStation is not going to do the same thing. Like you got to have people that's 6 feet away from each other.
We're not talking about PlayStation, man.
Yeah, like
I'm just talking about in a sense of things because
I know,
sometimes
but you
some people
keep going
gotta
back
get
to
that.
comparisons and brother,
I'm
I
not
don't look
comparing
at the
because
world
sometimes you
that
have
way.
to.
I don't
But
look.
you have to.
Dude, you do that at the turn of every corner.
I'm not comparing
Because
what
you have
PlayStation
to.
hasn't done because PlayStation hasn't done
You
shit.
don't.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we're
you
talking
do.
about the Microsoft
No,
show
you
right now.
don't.
So
The people in the real world do.
Oh my
Right?
goodness, man.
when we see PlayStation's event, we can compare the two, but we haven't seen anything from PlayStation at
Thank
this
you.
point. And I'm not knocking K Mega or Xbox. I know y'all feuding on this shit. I'm talking about the
I'm not
Xbox show.
feuding, man.
Hey,
We're
right,
good. It just
right.
Bot already knew how I felt about that when we was in the DMs.
Yeah, you
So
do.
it's like I
But
said,
you don't have
yeah,
to defend
yeah.
yourself, dude. Like, just let everybody talk. Like, you keep trying to jump in
Yo,
on
they're
everybody.
yelling at me, homie.
I'm not yelling
Like,
at you. I'm
no,
yelling at
I
you.
said
You're
they
interrupting
were
me.
yelling
Like,
at
just be quiet
me.
and shut the fuck up and let me talk.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah. Predator's
Be
like
quiet.
like a soft like waterfall right now, man. He's
I'm
not
like,
yelling
damn,
at you.
dude. I'm talking. You don't have to defend yourself right now. We already got your stance on it. You gave it away when K Mega talked. Just chill.
You what?
Dip it.
Oh,
Dip it good.
K Mega cut it in first, by the way. I'm just saying. Yeah, like, I'm
No,
just
like
saying.
for real, like the Xbox show. If you look at it overall, it was a great show. They showed a lot of brand new shit that we've never seen before, and games that we like. We get so tired of the Halo, Forza, Gears, right? We hear that from everybody, and I get this was second party. They told us it was going to be second party, and we didn't listen.
Well, they said third party. Oh,
third party.
this
I'm
one.
sorry. You're right. Third party.
Yeah.
And we didn't listen to that. And we're like, the thing is, like, they've told us like every single fucking event what they're gonna do, and we always come in with this expectation that they're gonna do more, and then we come out disappointed because we hype ourselves up so much that we don't see what we wanted to see, even though they told us. That's like a motherfucker walking to see, dude, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna punch you in the face. And they never punch you in the face. And then one day they punch you in the face, and the motherfucker be like, I told you. You know, like they told us what was gonna happen, and we just listened, and we didn't hear what they were saying.
When it comes down to it, all they had to do was say something like, third party blowout or something like that. Then all the world premieres would have been able to shine above all else. When you see an announcement like Yakuza coming to Xbox on its launch, which is a huge deal. At the end of the day, like,
they downplayed it seemed like, right?
Huh?
You feel like they kind of downplayed that a little bit.
But no, that's a huge announcement, and unfortunately, out there in the community, and it's not just fanboys and extremists, but there was a lot of people out there that were like, "Yo, this didn't match up with what Xbox was saying."
And I agree with you on that aspect. I think that it could have been a bigger showing.
That's all I was
when
saying.
they came out and they said that it was only an hour long, I was like, what the fuck are you going to do in an hour? Like there should be more. I've seen you do fucking, and I know, I think someone said this earlier, we complained because like we had a 3-hour show. But like of all shows that need to be long, this one was a show that needed to be long.
Yo,
I was okay with
it's the beginning of what they're showing throughout the couple months.
And they timed everybody to a 2-minute show, and they probably limited the amount of people they can bring on.
Nope.
And I don't know why that was. I don't know why, because again, this is their inside Xbox. They can do what the fuck they want to do. This is their show. They don't have to limit themselves to an hour. They chose to. They could have showed as many games, as much gameplay as they wanted to. And they decided to, and actually the guy said 25 minutes when they first started the show. So basically, Aaron Greenberg talking, the 25 minutes of gameplay or whatever they showed, and then the next, the outro, that was the hour. And I think they could have expanded that. Even if it was 2 hours, they had enough time in there to not only show, and right now I'm critiquing the show. They had enough time to actually show gameplay. They had time to talk to developers about the game. They had time to talk about the Series X, and that's what I think people were expecting.
Nobody wants to hear the developers talk about it. That's why they put it at the end.
Actually, they put it at the. Typically, in the past, in inside Xboxes, they do the show.
They're doing the middle,
and they do first party mostly. I'm just saying, like,
Chris, it's not your turn, dude. Wait the fuck, just chill. They do the show. And then after the show, after the ends, they say, we'll talk about this more after the show. And they typically bring on the developers afterwards, right? They didn't do that. Even when we were doing the live show with Xbox, we had no idea the show was over. We thought they were done because they started going straight to the devs. Like, we were like, okay, I guess we're done. And I jumped in because I thought they were done with the show. And they hadn't even ended the show yet. It was like another 20 minutes after that. So, like, this show, the pacing was okay. The timing was good. I think they could have shown a lot more with the amount of time. I think they could have given themselves more time to show more of the games and stuff like that, and gotten more in depth into the developers and even some more gameplay after the show. But because they compressed it all together, we kind of didn't even know when the show ended, and I think they kind of put themselves in a hole where they kind of timed it bad. That's just my stance.
You think Last of Us 2 is not?
We're not talking about Last of Us 2.
No. Xbox.
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
And the third party devs are not paying attention to what happened to The Last of Us.
Are you kidding me? No. Let me answer this question. Yes, they are paying attention to what happened with The Last of Us, but that was something completely different, right? Now, what people are going to learn from this show is what not to do. That's what they're going to learn from this, because they have this whole summer event coming up right now, and I think this I'm not even actually sure if this Xbox show that just happened, Inside Xbox show, was part of that or not, like something on the outside, and then the summer, because keep in mind, this whole summer event thing kind of seemed to happen like after Xbox's show kind of started, or after the announcement of the show. Like, it was never announced that this Inside Xbox was part of the summer event.
These devs are not part of Xbox Studios. I'm sorry. Like, I have to disagree.
Answer my question. I'm just asking a question. I don't know if this is the answer.
This was the kickoff. This was the kickoff to what they were going to be. This is
Xbox
2020.
Why wasn't that marketed? Because like we got more information about Inside Xbox.
You want to talk about the marketing? I agree with you guys on the marketing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is what I saw is games that I didn't know about or I didn't see, and they looked great. So I don't know.
Nobody has a problem with that, though.
Yeah,
like, you're just repeating the same thing over and over, and nobody's disagreeing
but the problem
with you.
But the problem is that people are more focused on this whole gameplay aspect instead of what.
I'm focused on all of it.
Though. That's the thing.
I'm focused on all of it.
I think people wanted more gameplay. That's the issue. They wanted,
but then they contradicted themselves because they don't want inside. Because they bitched about they didn't want inside Xbox to show more.
Who is they? Because I don't think
Fred, you, other people that's been on the panel. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And other people, they've been saying that they needed to cut down on this. They needed to cut down on that. Now it's different. That's what I'm saying.
Normal inside Xbox show, I would agree with that. But with this being the first show that's supposed to be highlighting the power of the
and these are third-party devs. Jesus Christ!
I think they should have gone a little bit more in depth on what they showed on the show. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and I got you. But also,
can I do a super chat real quick? Or
can I go read it? Go read
it. Yo! Shout out to Adiri. I hope I got that name right. If I mispronounced it, my bad, brother. He says all positive Xbox announcements, like the XSX reveal and spec detail, were because there were no expectations and Xbox surprised us. This was the opposite.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say to that.
Can I at least jump in here?
No. Look, I've been stepping away. I stepped away. I don't know. Damn,
because we're already like a half hour over, and I gotta go soon. So, all I want to say is my biggest problem with this whole show wasn't the show itself, and it wasn't the marketing behind it at all. It was the people afterwards saying that these games do not look next gen. And the biggest issue with that is that Sony's going to show the same type of games and they're on their stage and stuff like that, and people are going to be like, "Oh, these look next gen," even though they really don't. These games are not going to look what you think they're going to look. They're not going to look graphically better on the Series X or the PS5. You know, when it's like when we have an Xbox One X and a freaking PS4 Pro, they're just not going to look. They're not going to look like crazy insane graphically. They're gonna have more of a resolution. They're gonna have more of a 60 frames per second. They're gonna have that ray tracing. They're gonna have things that are gonna optimize. They're gonna make those. They're gonna have things that are gonna optimize the graphics to a certain extent, but they're not gonna look graphically like, oh my god, this is next gen. That's not. It's just not going to happen. At least that's how I think it's going to
Well,
happen. Where they're
didn't I
not going to
warn you
happen.
guys about this earlier? Like that some people are going to see the differences, other people are not, and the
Right.
differences are going to be there, right? But
Right.
I think that the drastic contrast that you guys are looking for, you're not going to get it, man.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I'm just being real with you. To get a noticeable difference, you have to go twice the power of what the current Xbox One X is to get something
Yeah.
noticeable. And one of the consoles kind of pretty much hits that mark. The other one falls a little bit short, but gets close. So you'll get something, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But I think people just need to, this is kind of a first glimpse behind the scenes. They're like, oh, that's what it's like. And
I was
That's
I
the
don't know.
thing.
impressed,
All
man.
these
I don't
like
know.
like even Christopher Hart in the chat is saying, oh, it's gonna look better on Sony because
Well,
Sony
dude,
is
you're
just gonna
dealing
show
with
ray tracing.
fanboys
And,
there,
well,
man.
I know. But what I'm saying is that these guys take that and then they sit there and they're like, oh well, this is how it's gonna be, and it's not gonna be like that. You're not gonna see a game leap bounds above what we have right
Yeah,
now. You're not gonna
godly.
see something that's gonna be crazy out of the box, insane that we have right now on our current
So
gen consoles. You're just
I
not going to
wanna
see it.
say this. I wanna say this because everybody knows I play Gears 5 a lot. Okay. Will you notice the difference? At least for you, Dark. Notice the difference if it's frames per second
Yeah,
over the actual
of course.
resolution.
You're gonna notice a difference, but you're not gonna notice a difference graphically. That's what I'm saying. Like these guys are trying to say, oh, these games don't look next gen graphically, or they don't look next gen. They look like they could be played on this gen. Of course, these games are gonna look like they're gonna be able to play on this gen because they have to play on this gen. Of course, they're gonna do that, and that's what it's gonna look like. And that's the thing that these people don't get in their fucking heads, that it's gonna look the best, these games don't look next gen, and I don't understand why. Well, it's because they're gonna be working with hardware that is this gen, which is the Xbox One X, the PS4, the PS4 Pro,
That's
the
little to do
PS
with it. That's little to do with it at all. But just the thing is, we have very little. Okay, so I mean, Dark, I know you work in the Hollywood area. You know that between what we currently have right now and what we have in Hollywood, there's not much additional real-time effects that we need to add to engines in order
yeah,
to do all the things you're doing in the Hollywood
yeah,
sector of 3D, right?
right.
And the missing point was really ray tracing, and
Mhm.
that'll be like a slow faucet. We'll keep turning it up, different hardware iterations. You'll see more and more
Yeah,
of that as time goes on. But that's where we're at, right? Like the glass
right,
ceiling, we've hit that. We do all the same
right,
effects
exactly.
as we
And
do in
that's what I'm
Hollywood.
trying to tell these
It's just
people, is that we
it's just
hit the
scaled.
ceiling.
It's scaled differently, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, and I've been trying to tell people this, back to Bot's point, and I don't want to like just dogpile, but the 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 disappointment in this show seems disproportionate to what we received. I think that's the big thing, and it comes off to people that are just looking forward to the show and had realistic expectations. It comes off to people that they're drilling down on just pure gameplay and wanted nothing but unadulterated 25 minutes of just pure gameplay of someone holding a controller in front of the screen. It comes off is like nitpicky.
See, you're going
It,
extremes there, man. You're
but
saying a
but
full
but
25 minutes of one person holding a controller and stuff
but
like that.
but
The
that's where you come off though, bot.
no, I'm no,
I'm just saying to everyone else that had realistic expectations, that's what you
well, brother,
sound
there were a
like,
lot of
regardless if that's
people.
your intent.
There were a lot of people, including logical, common sense,
Are they
grounded
logical because
people.
they agree with you, or logical? What
No,
constitutes
I'm going
logical?
by their track record, and when it comes down to it, people are trying to get them into console wars, and they just like back away from all that because it's not really worth it. Like it makes no sense to go back and forth on Twitter arguing about pieces of plastic and stuff.
I can
Those
tell you from what I've
logical
seen,
people,
and I can only tell you from the sample size that I've seen that runs across my timeline, right?
and I can only tell you from mine.
And you're included in this, it was pretty disproportionate. It was disappointing, actually.
Dude, when you have the company coming out and talking about a big Series X gameplay
I'm telling
reveal,
you how you're coming off, and you can either choose to accept it or not. That's up to you. But that's how it comes off to people, and that's why there is a contrast out there to what's going on out there, right? I think some people had expectations in check. They've seen inside Xboxes. They know what they're going to be getting. They got a little bit more than they expected. And then some people were just like, yes, I had this expectation built up because of this one tweet or one part of a tweet. To be
it was
clear,
a whole marketing rollout, dude, that they
okay,
were talking about. It
well,
wasn't
Actually,
one
it was
tweet.
just a fucking tweet,
but
dude.
then
It
then
wasn't
again,
one tweet.
you blew it out of proportion, man. You
No,
really
no,
did.
actually,
You did.
when
Yeah,
when
you
it comes
really
down
did,
to,
Pot.
see,
As
I
your
can't
friend,
even
I'm telling you. You've defended your point 100 times over. I'm just saying this is how it's
Yeah.
coming off to other people. So that's why it seems kind of like a fake neutral thing to people, because it's disproportionate. That may not be what's in your
It's-
heart. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that's how it's coming off to people. And it gets to a point where you constantly, if there's a constant criticism and you're like, okay, that's a big thing, that I can see where someone's coming from. That's slightly less of a big thing. And then when it gets to the very nitpicky things,
I
it comes
agree
off.
with what Aaron Greenberg said. I mean, come on, bro.
But
Oh,
what
he
I'm
only
saying,
said that because he had to. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't say that or anything
No,
like
but
that. I'm just
that's
saying.
what I got, though.
I'm just saying, when you get to that nitpicky of a thing, you start losing your audience, right? And I think it comes off as trying too hard to be neutral. I really do. I mean, people are going to judge you differently.
But it's exactly how I feel. It's not. I'm not coming off as being anything I have ever said, anything I have ever shared with the community. It is exactly how I feel. I could blow up the way other channels do and completely pander to one demographic and have everything. Can I finish? You are interrupting me now. Can I finish?
But
Can I
shut up and let me compliment you for a sec?
I would like to. See,
I'm telling you, normally you don't come off that way, but this is disproportionate. That's where people are trying to tell you.
It's what I see.
But that's what other people are seeing of you. That's where we're trying to help you. Bob.
All I can do is be me. All I can do is be me and
good friends
think about
of
it.
you, the good friends of yours, can tell you how it's coming off, right? Can we do that? Can we at least tell you how it's coming off to the rest of everyone else?
I have good friends that also agree with me. So it like when it comes down to it, you know, I take a lot of time and I seriously think about these things before I really put them out there. All right. And even at the live show, and anybody who's at the live show, I was like, I can't wait to talk about this after a couple days when everything kind of like marinates, because we're talking about things right after they showed them, right after the show. And I couldn't wait to come on to this show after people have gone back and watched it again, after people have thought about what was shown, what was said, all that good stuff. So when it comes down to it, I feel like I have taken the time to seriously think about this stuff. And I do feel bad for anybody. I was right there with you guys throughout this entire generation when people were bashing games that were good and all that good stuff. But that doesn't make me think, well, hey, you know what? I'm just going to throw a pass here because, man, we have been through garbage. We have been through absolute years. I'm speaking to the chat right now, man.
I'm just saying
I'm
what you're
speaking
saying,
to the chat and you are interrupting me. I'm saying
Whoa,
that.
come
Dude,
on, man.
let me
I'm
finish.
treating you with respect. What are you doing, man?
I'm trying. I'm
this
saying
is
this
why I
nice
left
and
in the first
calmly.
place.
Yeah, okay. See you later.
Can I read this point?
I don't understand why.
Okay, but let me read this point, right? Okay, so this is where I think that the misconception has been, and it's right here in your face. It says right here, it says we will focus on giving, this is from Xbox. We're focused on giving you first look at next gen gameplay, trailers, and sneak peeks from a wide variety of publishing partners and independent developers. Now, again, and then you also have Ricari who's been a part of that of Inside Xbox, said, "Hey, temper your expectations." You had Aaron Greenberg, who's came out too before the day before the show and says, "Look, we want you to be hype about the show, but we don't want you to think this is going to be like E3." I mean, how much more do they have to say beforehand before people will understand that this? And I get the criticism, Bot. I get it. I get it for anybody else, for Madge, anybody else that sit there and want to make their point. But look at what the focus is instead of what the show provided, which was hot,
Alrighty,
was
fellas,
great
I gotta
content.
go.
All right,
I gotta
brother.
go. This is too.
I mean,
we're
that's
gonna
too
want we'll wind this down
This is
for
too
now,
much.
yo.
Yeah,
Yo, shout out.
We need to just let this stop.
Yeah, so
This is too
it
much.
what
When
is.
it comes down to it, like I said, like, yo, shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Yo, when it comes down to it, I didn't think that what I said was a big deal. All right, that's my whole thing. Like, I enjoyed the show for what the show was. The lead up before time is what I had an issue with, and I never even said it was a big issue. But as soon as I said I had an issue, it felt like everybody started coming in on me talking about how I was wrong. And like, I don't
Because
necessarily
you're a
do
representative
that.
for those people that
Yeah, so do
say
you.
that have the common sense.
Okay. Let's get out of here. Let's go.
But then get your ass out of here. I'm talking and I'm saying gotta say what the fuck I gotta say. Come on, Otter.
Well,
Look,
you guys keep going, dude. You guys keep fucking going, and it's fucking
then
Thank you,
annoying.
got to
Brian.
leave, then
Thank you,
leave.
Brian. I appreciate it,
Shit.
brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
Thank you, people up there in the West Coast. I mean, damn. I'm sitting here letting everybody making their point. I'm sitting there and I still have some shit
You
to say.
already
So I said it real
made your
fast.
fucking point, dude.
I don't care. Look. I
You
don't care.
already made
I don't
that's it.
care.
Point.
Big rocks.
I don't
if you
care.
don't like it, I don't care, bro. Look. This guy's sitting here talking about. Look, Bot's entitled to his opinion, but so am I. So is everybody else.
Whatever.
You got to go, then go. Yeah, whatever. Stop. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this shit with Bot ever since the very fucking beginning.
Yo, guys.
We boys.
God damn.
We just disagree, but goddamn, man, you can't be coming in here trying to dictate some shit. Get the fuck out of here. Shit.
Damn, yo, what?
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with that boy?
Hey, guys.
Shit.
Come on.
I'm the only one still smiling right now. This is amazing.
I know, I'm good until somebody was like, man, stop it, shut up. Listen.
Guys,
let's go.
it is time to wind down the show. All right, guys. Yo, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Yo, I say it every week, man. I am gonna say it again. You know, like a 40-year-old with a comb over, it is time to get those plugs in. And Jamie, brother, our special guest, definitely quiet throughout that whole last part of it, brother. I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. Like, it got absolutely insane, man. I love your point of view. I love how you approach things on Twitter, on your YouTube channel. Like I said, it's about your preferred platform and what's coming down the road and what you're excited about and what they can do better. I absolutely love it. I highly suggest that everybody in the chat who hasn't done it yet, go into the description down below and definitely subscribe to the Illusive Gamer, because your channel is a bright light out there, man. Thank you for coming on. I do apologize for the craziness that occurred. I hope it does not deter you from coming on the show again, because I think, you have a lot to say. I know we got plans in the background as well, which I'm trying to get kind of like finalized. You have been incredibly patient with me, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Let people know about your show and where they can go to talk games with you, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. I just realized I've been muted for about 15 minutes.
Oh, no.
So there's that. No, it's been a good show. It's been loud, but good.
It's been loud. Loudest show we probably ever had, dude.
Americans.
Yeah. I mean, if everyone if everyone agrees with each other, it just ends up being a bit, bland, doesn't it? So, people are going to have disagreements, and, I'm up for coming on again, even though it is pretty late, but I am a night owl anyway. So, thanks for having us on. My YouTube is The Illusive Game. I should have a video out tomorrow, hopefully. And, I just do Xbox related stuff. And, my Twitter's Jamie Man UK, where I talk about gaming and jokes.
All right, brother. And moving on down the list, my brother Crispy, who you definitely chimed in after a while into the loudness. Crispy,
well, you told me to shut the hell up, bro. I mean, come on.
Yo, people.
Well, actually, you dropped the F bomb,
right,
but I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
You know.
no, I definitely swore a couple times. I did put that this show is not for kids, by the way. So I covered that base. Yeah. Crispy, you are on a bunch of other shows as well. Why don't you let people know the other podcasts you're on, and of course where they can go to talk games with you, bro?
Of course, man. At Crispy Bomb on Twitter, at Crispy Bomb 28 on Xbox Live. Hit me up. Like a lot of people are just like, oh, should I? Dude, I'm gonna. We're gonna be friends. Watch. Just come join me and play some games.
Take a chance. We'll be friends.
Well, you know, a lot of people, you know, you see people on YouTube and you think they're BSing, dude. I will at the least add you as my friend as soon as you do it. I will guarantee that. And if you hit me up, if you're playing a game that's on Game Pass or something, I will play with you. But also I'm on Retro Renegades Tuesday night, 7 p.m. And me and Bot are cool. I'm waiting for him to come back in MK11 real quick so I could screw him up real quick.
No.
But I mean, he's playing all these games, so I'm just waiting, you know. Waiting
I appreciate
patiently.
that because I've been going through like that game fatigue, and Ori 2 finally kind of started snapping me out of it, man. Shout out to Moon Studios, man. They have made a absolute masterpiece with that game.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That game just looks ridiculous still. Like you play a side scroller. Like imagine like me when I played Mario 1 or 2. Like it's like, yo, this is a side scroller? What the hell?
Sleepy in the chat said, can I borrow money from you, Crispy? We're friends, right? Yo, so you just opened that door, brother. Yo, shout out to Sleepy, by the way.
How much you need, bro? You need $20. I can do that.
Yeah. All right, let's go with the cool head on the panel. My brother Predator, as always, definitely.
Cool head today.
Yeah, definitely love having you on the show, man. You know, I have been eyeing you since you were on other podcasts, and I was like, man, one day he's going to be on next podcast. I appreciate every Saturday that you are here with me, man. Why don't you let people know where they can go to talk games with you, brother, and anything else you want to share, man?
So Predator H2S, pretty much everywhere. So hit me up, and you know, definitely hit me up on Twitter. That's where I'm usually at anyway. So you guys know I don't really do live my own podcast anymore, my own YouTube channel anymore. But I will definitely jump on a podcast if asked, and I will be there giving you guys the business like I usually do. So I will holler at you guys next week. See you guys Saturday.
Nice. And my brother who has been here from the beginning, coming live from the 405. Yo, K Mega, I will say this was probably the loudest next podcast in the 3+ years that we have done this show. Always appreciate you coming on, brother. You know that. Yo, we brainstormed and got this show up and running so long ago. One of the longest running podcasts in this community, by the way. GRG is just melting Mixer right now. You got to let them know about that. And of course, your YouTube channel and where they can go to talk games with you, bro.
Yeah, man, you can come talk to me on games on Xbox, PlayStation, you know, just K Mega 405. On Mixer, K Mega _ 405, and on Twitter at K Mega 4. You know what I'm saying? Really appreciate the guests coming on. You know what I'm saying? I made it clear from the jump that I mean, we don't normally have shows like this, but I made it from the jump that look, this was going to be passionate. It's just what it is. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Nobody should have no hurt feelings about it because I mean, I don't. We all have our own thought processes. We speak our minds, and that's the one thing that I always respect about not only for this podcast but also for GRG is that there's no kumbaya yes men or women that comes onto either of these shows. We're you know, we speak our mind and we deal with it, and then after that we laugh, we deal with it afterwards, even if we have some salty feelings like maybe Otter here a little bit, but that's okay.
Or the Don, the reason
Don,
why he left.
Or Don. Yeah. I mean, look, it is what it is, but let it be known, man. I'm going to speak my mind in the defense of gamers. I mean, and Bot's going to speak his mind in the defense of himself and for
No,
whoever that
gamers,
appreciates
gamers,
that.
dude.
But, okay,
I
well,
love
gamers too.
Bot, by the way. I think we all love Bot.
No, I mean, no,
it's not.
don't
Yeah,
get it twisted. Like next week is going to be like this because it's not. It's just that
We'll
I
have
knew that
another
this was going
thing
to
to
be
argue
touchy.
about next week. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we ain't got nothing to argue about. It's all gonna be kumbaya again. But it is what it is, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and checking us out and participating in the chat, man. And we'll see y'all next week.
Nice, guys. Again, thank you to the chat so much for the support on the channel, for the support on the show. I tell you guys, every other episode at the end, you guys are as much a part of the show as we are. When people go and they check out this show because they can't check it out live, they have the chat right there. I feel like you guys are that other seat, that panel member that you're able to put your opinions out there. I definitely appreciate that. It is Saturday night, man. The gamers got a game. We got to get the controllers in our hands. So I'm gonna end the show the way I do every week. We will see you guys next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.
Alien
Scorn
penis? Yeah, scorn penis.